Welcome. As you can see, Cal is not here at the moment. He is stuck in traffic. So for a little bit, you guys are stuck with me alone. And I apologize for that. But let's start by seeing if I can figure out how to play the video, which I don't know how to do. All right, we will play the video. So. All right. Welcome. So I will, for now, do everything. I will pull up the questions. I will answer them and read them. And I will try my best to hold everything down until Gal gets here. Today was MFL rollover, for anyone who doesn't know. So MFL has moved their leagues over to 2022. So that means DLF is starting their mock drafts. So I think you still have time to get in on either the rookie drafts or the startup drafts. I'm in both regular 1QB and Superflex rookie drafts right now. And we just started. I actually drew the 11th spot in both of them. So I'm going to have to do some, make sure I have those picks all set up. All right. So let me start running through these. So from Alexander Tocic, I think I got that. Oh, I'm not used to reading these, but I do this on my show. So I do have some experience reading the questions. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. It's just me for now, but I will answer it anyway. 1QB league, 1.5 PPR tight end premium, Burrow and the 310 for the 112, the 202, and Irv Smith. Okay. So in a 1QB league, Burrow is worth, I'll tell you where I have him. I have him equivalent in value to about the 107, between 107 and 108. So then the 202 over the 310 and Irv Smith coming back. I think I'll take the package of picks there. But it's not an unreasonable trade. I'm just not going to pay up for a quarterback in 1QB. Okay. From Dylan. Hey, dudes. Hey, what's up? What's the cutoff for the top tier of rookie picks in Superflex drafts this season? It's a good question. So I don't think we know where the tier break is. We didn't really know last year, right? I mean, we had some idea. We weren't sure if Davonte Smith was going to fall into the top tier, Javonte Williams, exactly where he was going to fall in our tiers. All the quarterbacks, were they all going to be drafted? For me right now, I would say the top tier definitely includes Malik Willis, Breece Hall, Treylon Burks for sure. Matt Corral is almost certainly going to be a first-round rookie pick because he's going to be a first-round NFL pick. And then Isaiah Spiller is almost certainly going to work his way in there as well. Probably Garrett Wilson also. So, maybe that's 6 players right there. And then maybe if Sam Howell or Kenny Pickett gets the draft capital, they'll also be top tier asset. But, it's very fluid at the moment. We don't even know who the 101 is. I have it as Malik Willis right now, but I could see it being anyone from Malik Willis to Breece Hall to Treylon Burks, potentially Isaiah Spiller if he gets the landing spot in draft capital over Hall. And Matt Corral or the other quarterbacks are also in the mix for that 101 spot. So still a little unclear at the moment. Ed says 9 to 11 in terms of the top tier. I'm not sure we can say that yet. He says there are 3 running backs. So that's the one thing. I mean, we have Hall, we have Spiller, and we have Kenneth Walker, who I just wrote a piece about. It's going to come out on the site tomorrow. I believe. I want to say tomorrow. I can check that for you guys. Yes, it will come out tomorrow. So my Kenneth Walker article will come out tomorrow. And I do think that those are going to be the top 3 running backs. I don't see any other ones working their way in there. 3 quarterbacks. I think it could be 2. I think it could be 3. I think it could be 4. Willis, Carden Corral are going to be in there, and then Pickett and Howell, I'm more on the fence. And then at wide receiver, I'm pretty sure Burks will be in there. Probably Wilson and London. After that, we'll see. But yeah, still a lot of room for players to move. So stick with us, especially once we get the combine, we get the draft capital, then we'll really start to tier those players out. You probably won't hear much from me about tiers before the NFL draft. Probably just rank them. Blake says, happy Waffle Wednesday. Hope you guys are well and have a ripping show. Yeah, I'm great. I hope Cal is doing well. He should be here in like 10 minutes, hopefully. Any concerns with the Kyler Murray drama with Arizona or insignificant? Good question. For now, I would say it's mostly insignificant. If we start to hear them not extending his contract, or they're pushing that down the line, or if there's more to it, I might consider it significant. But for now, I'm going to lean that it's not significant. I haven't moved his rank, put it that way. Okay. Yeah. Ed says that there's a lot still to change in the draft rankings based on, combine and draft positions. And that's what I said. Oh. Ed and I agree on the fact that Kyler Murray stuff is a lot of smoke. Okay. So from Tyler, another Tyler, I love that. I'm Tyler, if you didn't know, I figure everyone just knows who I am at this point. Amanra or the 107. So it's a good question. And this is just a good reminder to include formats in your question, specifically Superflex, PPR matters a little bit less, but include that as well. Because it matters here. For me, in a 1QB, I'll just take Amanra. I don't have enough confidence in the prospects in this class. In a Superflex, though, probably going to be 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks I would consider before that. So I would take the 107. Varies based on the format there. I almost just misclicked and put a user in timeout that I did not mean to. So, stick with me as we make sure I don't do any mistakes over here. So yeah, Ed says we have to be a little bit concerned about Kyler Murray, I think he's saying. And yeah, I'm watching it, but I'm not overly concerned at the moment. Happy Taco Tuesday from Frank. Yes. As much as I have hated that nickname, Taco Tuesday and Waffle Wednesday, my hair kind of messed up. As much as I hated that nickname, I have started to get used to it. So from Tyler again, he says, Amon-Ra and Pittman for Debo or Cup. What else would need to be added? Yeah, I think I'm going to need more than that for Debo or Cup. It just feels like a lot of maybe for a sure thing. I have Debo and Cup very similar. It's a lot of maybe for me. Not good enough. I want something more than a maybe. I mean, Amon-Ra is a maybe. 6 games of maybe. 4th round draft capital of maybe. I don't want maybe. In exchange for Debo or Cup, I mean, Debo was one of the best players in the NFL this year, and Cup had a historic fantasy season. So it's just not going to be enough. Pittman also with the Wentz situation, I'm a little concerned. So what would need to be added? Probably a mid to late first in addition for me to wake up to this kind of deal. 4th and 1, a good question. What's the value difference between Russell Wilson and Fields? Well, I have Russell Wilson higher, which I think is against consensus, at least what I've seen consensus being. I would say the value difference is minimal, not even a second, less than a second difference. But I'm not paying anything one way or the other. Okay. So again, we're going to have to ask for a format here. Fan for the 202, something with fan to get the 107. I need a format. Time premium is very important. So just let me know what the format is when we're talking about fan there. Okay. So from 4th and 1, I definitely go through the questions faster when I'm on my own. But let me know if I didn't answer your question well enough, and I will swing back to it later. We'll give you some bonus. We'll definitely give you guys some bonus time at the end of the show to make up for this slight ramble that I'm going on here. So from 4th and 1, Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey. Okay, so Wilson and McCaffrey. So again, I'm going to need a format here, but it won't matter too much because the other side is Ayuk, Kittle, and Fields. So Russell Wilson and Fields basically, to me, just cancel each other out. So we're looking at CMC for Ayuk and Kittle, but I still need a format because if this is tight end premium, I'll take Ayuk and Kittle more than likely. Yeah, I would take Ayuk and Kittle and tight end premium. If it's just a regular 1 QB, let's take McCaffrey. And yeah, this was about Amanra from Ed, whether it's a 1 QB or Superflex. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Tyler needs a raise. I mean, sure, I'll take a raise. I'm not going to say no to a raise, but yeah, I'm doing really well here, and especially on my Patreon, I'm doing very well. So you came in. Look at what's up on the screen.
Tyler needs a raise. Oh yeah.
I mean, I was saying I agree, but
yeah, no doubt.
That everything was going pretty well for me lately. So
no doubt. I apologize for being late. Thank you for getting the show started and everything going good.
I've been a little bit of a runaway freight train, but I do read the questions on my YouTube channel, so it's not like I've never done it.
No doubt. Well, I certainly appreciate that. Just to reset a little bit. This is Ask DLF. Taco Tuesday, Waffle Wednesday. What's up, Blake?
That's come up. It's come up.
Good.
we did that already. Yeah.
And so we are taking questions and let's.
Oh yeah, I know. I didn't tell the people anything. I just started talking. I didn't even introduce myself. I just figured the people know, but they know who I am at this point.
4th and 1 says he's trying to buy Saquon, question mark. I'm thinking of offering my 101. Is that too much or too little?
This might be your first time watching. It's way too much. Way too much. Saquon is not worth the 101 or the 102 or the 103 even. I don't want any part of that. I mean, 3 years of failure. We don't want 3. We don't want failure, right? Failure is bad. And
yeah.
I heard someone talking about the Giants offense today. I forget who it was, but they were talking about how in the red zone, Brian Daboll likes to pass the ball because the Bills had the most passing attempts in the end zone of any team. So we're going to have more passing attempts, more attempts on a terrible offense. That doesn't sound good. I don't want more passing attempts into the end zone when we weren't scoring any touchdowns with Saquon anyway. So don't do this. Try to sell Saquon. Get him out of your dynasty portfolio, but we don't want to do this.
I said this on another show and in a mock draft here recently, but my favorite runs from Saquon Barkley last year were the ones where he was wearing the Booker jersey. And that tells you everything wrong that you need to know about Saquon right now. And no, you do not need to offer the 101. Now, Saquon and the 110 for Davonte. How about that one?
Davonte, no matter the format.
Benjamin Lebowski. No, Lebowitz. There you go. 1 QB, PPR 1.06 plus 2.09, 301, and Terrace Marshall for the 101. For Burks, what do you think?
First of all, I want to note that the viewers went up the second you got here. So the people demand more of you. And I'll talk about that when we talk about your interview with Adam. But well, I just watched it, so that's why we're going to talk about it. But,
nice.
Yeah, no, it was very good. But in this case, I will take the 101. This is a bunch of crap. I mean, the 209, 301, terrace failure. It's a bunch of crap. The 106, who knows? I'll take the one player. It could be Burks. I mean, it could be, or it could be Breece Hall if he comes into a good landing spot, right? I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
If Breece Hall goes at, I don't have the draft order in front of me, but let's say he went in the first round. How about, what would be the best case scenario? The first round to Tampa Bay. How about that? Tampa Bay at 27, if they let everyone else walk and he goes there, I would think that we would rather him over anyone else in the class. So, and then I wouldn't want the 106. Could be anything. So yeah, I'll take the one guaranteed asset here.
I like that you said likely take Burks. Just don't lock yourself into that. Yeah.
Don't lock yourself in. Yep. If I had to do the draft today, I would I have some concerns with Burks though, because the NFL community doesn't seem to like him as much as we do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure he's going to be the first wide receiver taken. I'm not sure about that. I think it's possible, but I'm not sure. So yeah. I might take Hall because I know Hall is going to have value.
Love it. Ridley Truther, what's up, dude? He says, yo, Tyler, if you have Jamar Chase and being honest with self, won't be contending for a while. Are you holding no matter what? If not, what are you trading for? Can't get any offers I'd like so far. What do you think?
I mean,
every player is available, but Ja'Marr Chase is like last on my list of players I'm looking to trade if I'm in a rebuild. So, take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I guess I'd want to know, like, what are the circumstances here? Like, if you're saying if you're being honest, you're not going to contend for a while, like, do you have no assets, no draft picks? Like, what does the rest of the team look like around Ja'Marr Chase? I guess I'd be curious to know a little bit more about this. But in general, yeah, like, I can't imagine trading Ja'Marr Chase and being like, hey, today was a good day. I traded Ja'Marr Chase away.
Yeah, me neither. So it's just, he's literally, if I had to pick any players in fantasy football in a rebuild that I'm holding on to, Ja'Marr Chase might be number one. Kyle Pitts is up there. Rebuild, that players I do not want to trade. Ja'Marr Chase, Kyle Pitts, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb is another player I do not want to trade because they're all very young and it's hard to get the value for them. And then the quarterbacks in Superflex, Allen, Mahomes. But those are the players I don't want to trade the most. So I would try to trade everything else and build around. You have to build around something.
I've been getting a few Mahomes or Herbert questions recently. Like, if it was one person, I'd be kind of like, okay, but I feel like there's been quite a bit of people like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I just posted my Dynasty quarterback ranks on Twitter, and there was a lot of pushback, as usual. There always is. But people didn't like that Kyler Murray was still ranked third. They didn't like that. Because I got 20 versions of Kyler Murray is a baby. You should move him down. And I'm like, really? You thought this was a good use of your time to comment that? That's going to make me change my ranking. So there's a lot of nonsense in that thread. But I did get that exact question, Mahomes or Herbert, 4 or 5 different times. So I hear you. You muted.
I hate that.
I know.
Sorry. Andrew, 1QB league, would you trade the 102 for George Kittle? If not, who would you pick there? Team is bad.
I'll take the 102. And I'm not trading it for George Kittle. George Kittle is too inconsistent for me. I'm fine buying him low, but this is not low.
Yeah, right.
This is not low. I mean, there are some people I hear when I posted my tight end rankings, I hear, well, how could you possibly rank George Kittle so high? He never does anything. And I would just get rid of him for anything. If I could pay the 110 for George Kittle, I'd love to do it. But the 102 is an overpay. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. That feels a little disrespectful to Kittle.
Not really.
I'm saying, like, to trade him away for the 110 feels like that would like, if you have Kittle, there's no way I'm trading him away for a low draft pick in this draft.
Well, I'll tell you that some people don't agree with you. So, maybe you should look at the Kittle manager in your league and see if there might be an opportunity, because there are people who do not agree with you. So it could be a buying opportunity.
Just like 5 tight ends that could be a difference maker. And he's among those.
I'm with you. But the 102 is not cheap. The 102 is way too expensive. Outside of a tight end premium, I just don't.
Yeah, it's not a deal that I would be doing. No,
it's not like Kittle's 23. Sorry, 28. There's a difference.
If you had the 102 and you were trying to get a tight end, like, could you not get, like, maybe you have to add something else, but I mean, could you not get Mark Andrews? This doesn't say it's tight end premium.
I bet you could, and I would do that even in a regular league, a regular 1QB, no premium. I would send the 102 for Mark Andrews, but not Kittle.
Right. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is. That looks like a scam to me.
MVZ podcast. Is Derrick Henry still number 1 in our heart? Maybe.
No, I don't know what he would be number 1 in. Number 1 in what?
Carries over the last 4 years.
Is he even? I bet you Zeke has more. I don't think he is. Yeah, because remember, first of all, Henry missed more time this year than Zeke has ever missed, and then he didn't become a workhorse until really 2019. Zeke might have more, but
we need somebody like Ed to look this up for us.
But yeah, no, Henry's not the 101 anymore.
What's up, binary gender human? Would Burrow have won the Super Bowl if he clearly stayed 4 downs? No.
All right, here. No, this is a good example of how you end up in a timeout.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for giving us an example of that, Blake.
Enough of this. Enough of this. This is not enough.
There's other.
I've just decided that if you notice on Twitter these days, it's like one comment that's like not nice, and you're gone from my Twitter feed. So I'm gonna carry that same policy over here when I'm in command of the block button.
I'm on a new 16-team PPR 1 QB leagues. 3 guys in the league have already traded all picks in 2022 to 2024. How can I emphasize how important draft picks are to them? Skip, just next year when they all bail, you're going to need to find a new league anyway. So trade all your picks too.
Well, no, hold on. Seriously, what if these people have never played Dynasty before? What if? Everyone had to start somewhere, right? I mean, right? Like everyone has to start somewhere.
Okay, sure. If you know for sure you're going to keep them around, sure. But the likelihood is they're going to realize like, oh yeah, wow, those draft picks are really important.
They learn the hard way, and then they progress as a dynasty manager. But what do we
start over?
But what are we supposed to do? Just have everyone born into the world knowing how to play Dynasty? Like, you have to learn. I mean, you can't just. So to answer his question, just, it's something that I would say they learn over time. And if they don't learn, then they don't learn. But what are we hoping for? Everyone to just come into Dynasty already knowing how to play? Like, I certainly wasn't that. So I don't know. I would just tell them that, draft picks accumulate value over time. Think of them as a guaranteed asset, and refer them to this show or something. Right. Like, actually, like, have them watch this show. Suggest that they subscribe to DLF. I mean, these are self-serving suggestions, but it doesn't have to be me or us. There are plenty of Dynasty sites out there. Have them subscribe to whatever their favorite is. If it's us, it's great. If not, that's fine too. But have them look up a resource, and then they'll, follow their favorite Dynasty analysts, and they'll figure out how valuable draft picks are. That's how do you think I learned, right? I mean, I learned it in my case. It actually happens to be the DLF podcast, but for others, it could be other podcasts.
Yes, they're gonna have to learn. Tell them to watch the show. Yep, tell them to watch the show.
Yeah.
MVZ podcast. Hope to have you on my podcast sometime. DLF. Hit us up.
Which one of us? It's more likely to be Kyle than me.
Yeah. They're more likely to want you, but I'm probably more.
Yeah. I have not done a guest spot in almost 7 months, so it's possible, but it's unlikely.
I've been going on my new show, so
which is very good, by the way. I watched the entire interview you did with Adam.
Adam's so smart.
He is, yeah.
Bizarre Curdy, Marquise Brown becoming a full-time Twitch streamer.
Yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense. I saw that on Twitter, but let's see maybe if someone actual reports that, but I don't buy that.
Does he go up in your rankings on that?
I don't know. This is a rumor saying that he's going to become a full-time Twitch streamer and retire. This is bullshit.
Let's see. Happy belated birthday, Tyler.
Oh, yeah.
Burrow plus Palmer for Kyler plus Claypool. Burrow fun to root for, so I'm hesitant.
Look, now I'm 27, so you can just get me off your Dynasty team, right? I mean, you don't need me anymore. But now Kyler's worth more than Burrow because of his rushing upside. So Kyler and Claypool by a mile.
Yeah, I agree. Unless Kyler ends up playing baseball.
I don't see that happening.
12-team Superflex, PPR, Lockett, Henderson, and the 206 for Hollywood, the full-time streamer.
I mean, I don't want to pay this for Hollywood. I don't want anything on the other side.
I just saw that the same guy that reported about Marquise Brown stepping away is the same one that reported the trade of DJ Chark from the Jaguars to the Ravens.
So he doesn't know anything. So forget about him.
Yeah. So feel free to ignore that. Salsa 19. Would you trade Rashad Penny for a random 2023 second?
I mean,
I would.
Yes, but I feel like you can do better than that.
Rashad Penny is as likely to be nothing.
If you want to learn a lesson from this, it's that you should have sold him when there was still hype around him, even though nothing has changed between now and then because people remembered him. Now it sounds like now we're a month later and people are like, oh, second round pick. Oh, I like that. I'm not going to trade that now. So you had your chance, and now it might be harder.
Yes. There's no way Seahawks go through free agency and the draft without taking a running back. It's going to happen.
I think it's not that unlikely. I mean, if they re-sign Penny, they have Carson under that contract. If they really think that Carson is going to come back and play, which I think is crazy, but if they do, then they're probably not going to add yet another player. Not a significant one anyway.
No, so a week into the season when Carson is hurt and Penny is hurt, who is going to be their running back? That's what they need to be thinking about.
Oh, well, then they'll just call Frank Gore.
They need to do one. Dustin Ross, and startup season is coming up. Woohoo! General question. Sorry if too big for the show. Does your strategy change if you're drafting from the ends or the middle?
I love how you're aware that this question is probably too big for the show. This question is too big for the show. That's hard. That's hard for me to visualize live. Generally, I would say from the ends, there's going to be the turn. So there's going to be less time between, or more time between your pick. So I get cute a little bit less. But other than that, like the specifics of that are going to be different based on the format. So I can go through this a little bit in the article. But yeah, on the show, it's hard.
I also think you should be making trades. And so like the player specific, like in your draft, certain players are going to fall, and that would be more likely to change what I do strategy wise than the actual like where I'm drafting.
Correct. But it does, being on the turn does change things.
Yeah, Ryan, what's up, Tyler and chat? Looking forward to a great show. I'm here. I'm in here too, Ryan. I know it probably wasn't when you posted that.
Yeah, he wasn't. You weren't.
I'll try not to take offense, Ryan.
Yeah, well, the people have demanded more Addison. By the way, they've demanded more Addison. They probably don't realize that Addison posts a zillion videos on this YouTube channel.
He does.
They might not realize that.
Addison's awesome. Frank, I have a big glut of young wide receivers. No first floor problems. But I have, oh my gosh, Jefferson, Chase, Lamb, Mooney, Bateman. Should I be trying to move one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I would move Bateman and or Mooney. I don't know how to attach either one of them. Yeah, you can move them both.
I'll move both. Fields would be a high player because of rushing yards. It's possible, but
he's not Lance.
I don't know. So I'm not going to say yet who my next Dynasty, what's the name of my show? Dynasty Refinery.
Really? You don't know the name of your own show?
Look, I just ran in the door. Give me a break. I got to get myself organized.
Okay, I watched your show more recently than you did.
Yeah. So, but we talk about Justin Fields, and actually I left being less optimistic on Justin Fields. So...
Yeah, I'm definitely, people think I'm a Justin Fields hater. And I guess I could be relative to quarterbacks, but, I still have Justin Fields in Superflex ranked 28th overall. So I'm willing to spend an early third round startup pick on him. So it's not like I despise him or anything.
What percentage out of 100, says Nicholas?
We're not going through pronouncing Matt Eberflus again. We're not going through that again. That was funny.
Does draft spot matter depending on the team they go to? So in other words, I guess wherever they end up,
landing spot or draft capital?
Draft spot. So yeah, that could be either. I think
draft capital matters a lot, more than anything else.
Absolutely.
By the way, if you just drafted the players in the order they were drafted in the NFL draft, you'd actually do pretty well. You'd do better than most dynasty analysts. You would. If that's all you knew and you just drafted them in order, you'd do better than your average dynasty analyst on Twitter. Not the good ones, but you'd do better than the average one. If you just drafted each position in the order they were taking, quarterbacks in order, running backs in that fashion, you would do better. So draft capital is everything. Landing spot, it generally matters if it's very good or very bad, although very good can be misleading. you ended up with CEH, was a very good landing spot, and that didn't pay off. Very bad, though. For a running back, there's no such thing, really, because a good running back will get their chance eventually. Eventually, it'll happen. Wide receiver can get screwed. Rashad Bateman was screwed. If Rashad Bateman, you want to talk about someone who's screwed? Hollywood Brown was really screwed. I think we've seen evidence, much more evidence, that Hollywood Brown is good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Hollywood Brown is good. He's been good. We have 3 years of good, at times, good play from him, especially once they started using him correctly down the stretch in 2020, all through 2021. He was good, but he's been screwed. That he's stuck in this landing spot, and because he's good, not great, he'll never overcome it, really. So, yeah, it matters. I do think Hollywood Brown could have had a reliable fantasy career on another team, but he won't on this team, ever. So, it matters. But, of course, if you're Julio Jones, AJ Green,
right,
style, Calvin Johnson,
yes,
Andre Johnson, that type of player, you'll succeed. DeAndre Hopkins, you'll succeed no matter what. AJ Brown, Metcalf, no matter how bad the situation is. If you're that good, you'll succeed. But that's the level. Like Jerry Judy and Rashad Bateman are not good enough. You need to be better than that to overcome a bad situation.
Nicholas is all about the Benjamins. Is Elo Benjamin a buy low now since Connor and Edmonds aren't on contract for next year yet? And at worst, maybe he's second string next year. I don't think that's the worst case scenario.
So Nicholas, I encourage you. Eno Benjamin has been in the league for 2 years. So what I want you to go do now, right now, is go look up and tell me how many games out of 33 Eno Benjamin was actually dressed for the actual game. How many games he dressed for the active roster. So you tell me what that number is, and then you'll have your answer to this question. The answer is no, but you just tell me how many games he dressed for.
Yeah, I think there's as good a chance that he is no longer with the team than there is that.
Correct. Yeah. I rank over 300 players, and he didn't make the list.
Yep. Or the 310. 310.
Yeah.
Paul wants to know our thoughts on Chase Claypool.
My thoughts on Chase Claypool. Well, I mean,
wait, hang on. Okay, hang on. Does it change with the quarterback? Like, let's talk about
yes.
So if Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, what are your thoughts on Chase Claypool?
Bad. Okay. Yeah, bad. If Mason Rudolph is the quarterback, it would be bad.
Okay. What about if the quarterback is Malik Willis?
Still bad. Malik Willis is not someone I want for my fantasy weapons. I want Malik Willis from Malik Willis, but Malik Willis is another Jalen Hurts. Maybe he's not. Is he really that different? I know. Is he that much better? Is what I'm asking. Passing wise. I don't know.
And I mean, based on what he's coming from too, that's such a hard situation because
he's going to run and run some more.
Right. My thought is the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a lot more of a run heavy offense next year than they have been traditionally.
Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo could, there's one quarterback who could save Chase Claypool. It's Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston would save him.
I will say this though, like
we know Winston can support this. We've seen him do it.
Where he's going in drafts though, I feel like he's at that last point where there's a drop off after him. And I find myself very interested in the 23-year-old wide receiver who does have a pretty good ceiling. You know what I mean? Like there are scenarios where Chase Claypool becomes a reliable fantasy player. It's just, he's going right now as the wide receiver 24, like very low end wide receiver 2. That's a good risk for somebody like him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have him at wide receiver 22, so I'm not like, if anything, apparently I'm higher, but I don't love him.
Local liability, 1 QB, and I already had the 110. Jefferson, CD, Terry, and Debo traded away Jamar Chase for the 102, 108, 2023 first and second.
He got ripped off. That's not enough. I want more.
Yeah, this is one of the things, and like the rest of your roster, I understand why you put it on there, but to me, like it doesn't matter. Like you can't take less value just because you have other good wide receivers.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Claypool rebounds with a QB that doesn't have a dead arm. It's possible.
Look, he's not bad, but I worry that what I was hoping, I don't know how long people have been watching the show, but I love Claypool. Yeah. And if you look at his 2 seasons, targets, receptions, and yards are almost identical. The difference is that he scored 11 touchdowns in 2020 and 2 in 2021. So
yeah. Who's more likely to have a let's say a top 15 season this year, Claypool or Jerry Judy?
Jerry Judy has almost zero chance of that. So Claypool.
Yeah, and they're going kind of in similar spots. Actually, Judy's got a slightly higher ADP than him. So
yeah, I feel bad for Jerry Judy. I feel bad for him because I actually think Jerry Judy is good. Jerry Judy looks good. There's nothing wrong with Jerry Judy, but he's been completely screwed. I feel for him, really. And also, this Aaron Rodgers thing is not going to help because Aaron Rodgers is going to come with Davonte Adams, which is going to send Jerry Judy to Green Bay to play with Jordan Love, and that will be bad. That will be very bad.
Saul also wants to know if we're nervous at all about holding Godwin with the ACL and free agency.
No, I'm not nervous. That ACL happened a little bit ago. I think he will be ready to play. He's pretty young. He turns 26 in February, I believe, or January. I forget exactly which. Not worried. I will say, I don't know. I mean, where's his destination going to be? Could be anywhere, really. I think every team would want to have him, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be interesting to see when he signs. Like, does he, when's free agency start? Like April?
The free agency starts March 15th.
March 15th. Okay. So that's not that far. Like, he's going to have a chance to have a good workout with the team, like get out there.
I think that he's good enough. It's not like Michael Gallup. I think Chris Godwin is good enough that some team is just going to take the benefit of the doubt. Take the benefit of the doubt and sign him to the contract anyway. He's so good that I think it's worth the risk. It might come at a slight discount.
That's what I mean is like, is he willing to take that? So like, in other words, like, does he want to wait?
He was a third round. He was a third round pick. You're going to put a paper in front of him that says you sign here and you have $50 million guaranteed. You sign here. You didn't really get paid. You got paid like $3 million in your career. You sign this piece of paper. You get $50 million. You're not going to do that. I mean, I would do that. I mean, I think a team is going to be willing to give him, 4 for 78, something, that kind of deal. 4 for 78 with like 50 million guaranteed. I think a team would be willing to do that.
I'm more nervous about his quarterback situation right now.
Who knows where he's going to go?
Right. There are all the landing spots that I've been hearing for him, I'm not like super excited about.
Well, where would excite you? What would be good? Well, what would be good?
Los Angeles. That's the place that would be exciting.
You know what I would like? I would like back with Tampa Bay with Winston as the quarterback. I would like that one. That one would be my ideal because we know that was where he had his biggest success.
It's fun. It's just who's going to be if Leftwich is going to be the head coach? Yes.
Well, Arians loves Godwin.
Oh my. Okay, yeah, he hates Jameis.
He might hate. Well, I think he could get along with Jameis. I think if they could resolve their differences. But what if I have a better scenario for you? What if he resigns in Tampa and then they trade for Deshaun Watson? What about that? What about that possibility? Now, how would that go? I like that one.
Can you imagine Bruce Arians fielding questions like, "Hey, aren't you so glad that Sean Payton fixed Jameis Winston for you?" Like,
oh my God!
There's no chance this happens. No chance.
I think that it's a bigger chance than you think.
Everybody seems to think that. I think everyone is like. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
No, not everyone thinks that. I'm the one who thinks that. I don't want to put that on everyone.
Randy Watt, I got Chase, Elijah Moore, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, AJ Dillon, Mike Williams, Kyle Pitts, and no First 2025. Randy.
Oh.
We decided to switch over to Superflex in 2023. 14 team.
Actually, gets worse.
Brady was my only QB.
Okay, so we have a 14-team Superflex team that doesn't have any firsts for 3 years. And this actually has no quarterback. So we have a big problem. This is a big problem. So this is an immediate rebuild. The rest of your team doesn't matter. So yeah, you got to sell everybody, and we got to get quarterback in here because you can't. How can you play without a quarterback? So yeah. Or I mean, it doesn't switch over to Superflex until 2023. You can try to compete in 2022 without the quarterbacks and then just suffer for years. I guess that's an option.
Could you trade Mike Williams and get Davis Mills?
But I don't want to do that because if it doesn't switch over to but if it doesn't switch over to Superflex until 2023, I don't think I'm going to enjoy the starting year of Davis Mills when I actually need it.
I'm trying to think of a quarterback maybe you can buy low on.
By the way, I think that the odds of Davis Mills starting in 2023 are like 10%.
Well, Pep Hamilton being the OC helps him, in my opinion.
I don't care. I think that Davis Mills
quarterback.
Yeah, I'm like 70-30 that he starts this year and like 10% that he starts after that.
Right.
They're going to have an option to get another quarterback. They're going to get picks from trading Deshaun Watson away. That's the thing.
He's like the best example. Maybe, I don't know.
I think teams have not shown a desire to pay picks in the current year for players. They just haven't done that. So not a lot of them. So I think that they're going to have to accept a package that includes many 2023 picks. And I think they're going to be, or possibly even going into 2024, they're going to have the ammo next year to trade up for a quarterback. So unless Davis Mills is amazing, which I don't think he is. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
I think that he will not be their 2023 starter. But I do think he will be 2022. But in the context of this question, it's not Superflex until 2023, so I'm not going to enjoy the value of Davis Mills when I need him. So that's a problem in trading for him.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of like trying, because I think the trade market is going to value quarterbacks as if it's a Superflex now.
You're right. So this is a very difficult situation.
And it's 14 teams, so like you're going to have a tough time.
There's also something that I, through Patreon, will be able to get you out of and do my best, but it's hard without knowing the relationships you have with trade partners in your league. That would help.
Local liability, same league, trade away Kirk Cousins, AJ Dillon, 110 and 208 for Lance, and a 2023 first. 4 total first for 2023. Nice job.
Superflex? Because this is a steal. Superflex.
Yeah.
I assume it is. Well, this is a
I'm monster trade. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Lance is worth more than the whole other side. So if it's a Superflex, this is a great trade.
Ridley Truther, 12 teams, Superflex, PPR, one tight end premium, Pittman or Tony, Gabe Davis, and 205. Interesting. Retooling team, but should be competitive as is.
Yeah. So, it's kind of three pieces that are pretty similar for the one big piece. Pittman's not a piece I love. This is not buying low enough for me. So I will take the package side here. But if I could remove any of those things, then I would take Pittman. So if it could be 2 of those things, and it's 2 instead of 3, then I would take Pittman. But just not excited about Pittman to pay this. So I'll pass on doing that.
Yeah, I like Tony. I hope
I like Tony.
Tony.
I agree. I think so.
Tony in the hands of Dayball is like how much better than Tony in the hands of Jason Garrett? Like
incomparable.
It's like $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million. Yeah, $1 million.
JCast, would you trade Joe Mixon and Brandon Ayuk for CeeDee Lamb?
I'd rather not. This seems like an overpay. Based on market value, you shouldn't have to pay that much for CeeDee Lamb. So I want to pay less.
Pull that super chat up.
I got it. Yeah. Okay. It's a good question. that I will struggle to answer. But from Scott, 12-team half PPR single QB. We're adding a defensive player, and I have the 103. Do I take Burks or top defensive player? So I don't know much about IDP, but I will tell you that if you're only adding one IDP carries zero value at all. So it's not going to be a defensive player.
Yeah, value it like a kicker in that case.
Yeah, it's literally you should value them never and pick them up on the day of the game.
Yeah.
I've played in this format. It is a waste of time. There are so many IDP players that you can play on a week-to-week basis, and nobody seems to know like exactly how to rank them. So you just get value so easily. So
keep talking on
this. Yeah. So keep talking. Okay. Well, yeah. Generally, as someone who doesn't enjoy IDP, I will say that even as someone who doesn't enjoy IDP, I can appreciate that you're probably better having zero IDP players than you are having one or two, or that like it's just an extra hassle that adds like no enjoyment whatsoever. So yeah, I wouldn't draft an IDP player in my entire rookie draft in this format, if I'm understanding it correctly. And then yeah, Ed says if you're just adding one defensive player, super fade that position, and I agree.
Yeah, there's going to be too many people who are startable for you to, even if you were having like one linebacker and one like secondary, like sometimes I've seen that, or even just like one lineman, one secondary, one linebacker. You're still not going to value them very high.
Yeah, you can just find them on waivers.
Let's see.
But yes, I am a known IDP hater. I'm pretty well known that I do not like IDP at all.
Here we go. J-Cast, would you trade? Oh, we just did this one. No, sorry. Is Jalen Reagor salvageable? Says MBZ Podcast. So we have there's a saying here made famous by Tyler, and we refer to someone like Jalen Reagor in his first 2 years as being.
Well, he's a failure. He's a big failure, but actually he has many strikes of failure. He has like 6 strikes. So usually I say it's 3 strikes and you're out, but he's on like strike 6. So he's struck out. So he is not salvageable.
Did you see where they asked Justin Jefferson and he was like, I kind of feel sorry for Jalen Reagor being compared to me all the time? Like,
yes, I did see that.
The confidence to say that is just unbelievable. I love it.
I mean, look, I've said it. I've said things like that in the past.
Yeah.
So I can relate as someone who's overconfident.
MVZ Podcast. CeeDee Lamb fell off hard in the second half last year with the turn of Gallup.
I don't think that's the why, but I can do a splits analysis on that if you want. Maybe I will.
I'm not worried about Lamb at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slightly worried, but I'm not overly worried.
Maybe I have him at wide receiver 5. That's as far as I can drop him.
Yeah, I have him at 4.
Right. Paul, I have the 103 2022 this year, and I'm pretty sure Burks and Hall will be gone.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it's hard to know. But
yeah, it's hard to know at this point.
That's what I'm projecting. I mean, I'm projecting those to be the first 2. So then you'll have your choice of Isaiah Spiller or the other potential wide receivers.
That is correct. So let's see. Yeah, I was just looking. Yeah, Burks, Hall are who we would project to go to, and then yeah, Spiller or Wilson, Drake London would be kind of on DLF's rankings based on everybody who is a ranker. That it would be the next 3.
Yeah, I mean, I do have rookie ranks. They've been up on my Patreon for a while. I'm looking at them, but they're not that different from DLF's ranks. I have some key differences, but they're mostly later.
Is Mixon a top 10 player in Dynasty right now?
Top 10 or top 20?
Top 20. Sorry, top 20.
Yes, in 1 QB, yes, barely.
Are you like better this year if you had to pick one, Kenneth Walker or Drake London?
If my draft were today, I would pick Drake London.
Yeah, me too. But so much is going to go into this. Yeah.
I have them at 5 and 6 right now. If the draft were today, I would pick London, but that could still change based on the draft capital.
Here we go. Dustin wants to know, what do you believe Gabe Davis' standalone value is currently in terms of what would you be willing to trade to acquire him?
Well, the odds that I'm ever trading for Gabe Davis are 0 because I don't value him as that highly compared to some. I have him right now ranked as the wide receiver 38 in Dynasty without including any rookies. So, I'm not giving up any first for Gabe Davis, which means I won't get him.
Okay, I'm using the trade finder on DLF.
Oh, I love the trade finder.
Yeah, let's this is Gabe Davis here. So Gabe Davis and a 2022 third round pick for Jerry Judy.
Judy.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I know you're not huge on Judy right now, but that's not close to me. Like, I
still like Judy.
Yeah, that's a smash on that. Okay. Gabe Davis in a second for DJ Chark, a third and a sixth.
What? Davis.
Yeah, I'd probably go Davis there. Gabe Davis for a 2022 round 1. I don't see the pick. Literally no. Like, yeah, you want a first over Gabe Davis no matter where it is. How about Gabe Davis for a 2022 high second round pick?
I want more than that if I have Davis already.
Gabe Davis for Laviska Shenault and a 2023 first. Man, wow.
I'll take the first.
What if it's a second?
Davis.
I think it's still the Shenault and.
Well, I don't want any part of Shenault.
But the pick is probably the best.
2023 second is a long time to wait.
Yeah. Pizza Star, I have picks 2, 3, and 6 this year. 3 2023 first and 2 2024 first. What's realistic to give up for Pitts and a 1 QB?
I mean, I don't know. Try just offering the 102 straight up and see how that goes. Probably it won't. It'll probably be rejected, but I would try.
I would give up. I'd definitely give up 2 and 3.
2 and 3. That's a lot. 102 and 103. You're saying that you're gonna, in a non-premium, you're gonna give up Burks and Spiller, or Hall and Spiller.
Yes.
But we're suddenly not getting a massive discount anymore. If we're giving up 102 and 103, we're not getting a discount.
We're paying 21-year-old tight end that already has a 1,000-yard season.
Well, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, but just recognize what you're doing. You're paying full price. You're not getting a discount. So, I like to get a discount. 102 and 106 would probably be my best offer.
Paul wants to know, should I use the 103 on Malik Willis? I need a running back, but I think the QB position will have long-term value. Is this one?
This question, we have some issues here. One, is the draft tomorrow? Probably not. So then you shouldn't decide now. Then we get to the second part of the question, which is, I need a running back. No, we don't worry about that. The quarterback position will have long-term value. Well, maybe, but that depends on the draft. And, if the quarterback doesn't play well, then they don't have a long-term value. So my answer to this is, if the draft were tomorrow, Malik Willis would be my 101 in Superflex. But other than that, don't lock yourself in.
Hiram Cintron, no chance I trade Kittle for a 2022 first, no matter the pick.
Oh, I think if someone offered you the 101, you would take it. I think it would be crazy not to take it. Even in a tight end premium, I would still take it.
Yeah, those high picks, I think I would, but like people trading him for like a low 2022 first, I just don't understand that. Like
there are people who are just done with George Kittle because, according to them, he doesn't produce consistently enough for their liking. But we wouldn't know anyone who talked about that recently.
He was the 4th highest scoring tight end this season.
Yes, but because it didn't all come at a consistent pace, to people's liking, then they don't like him.
Consistency is overrated. Go watch my recent video with Adam Harstead on the Dynasty Refinery.
I only had to set you up for the plug twice before you got there. It's not so bad.
I finally got it. And I finally traded 4 Pitts this week. Gave up AJ Brown and Hawk for Pitts and Higgins. I love that.
I'll take Pitts and Higgins easily. Pitts and AJ Brown are kind of similar, but I'd rather have Higgins over Hawk.
Good job, Ed. Andrew Baker, would you trade the 101 for Mark Andrews in a 12-team tight end premium, super flex.
Yes. And a tight end premium, I'll take Andrews.
I love Mark Andrews.
I do too. And tight end premium, I'll take Andrews.
Yeah, I've been trying to trade for Pitts for weeks, months.
And you can't do that. Yeah, but well, you were able to do that, but there's a reason it took weeks or months. And I don't know how you pulled off the trade that you did, but typically I find it difficult to trade for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, me too. John wants to know if we saw the Hollywood Brown rumors. We did talk about this already, and yes,
this is garbage. Yeah, garbage. Don't worry about that. It just anyone can just post anything. I guarantee you, I have 19,700 Twitter followers. I guarantee you, if I posted in a very serious tone something along the same lines, it would get picked up by people. People would buy it if I did it. So and what am I? I'm here, on the show, whatever, but I'm not a reporter, but people would buy it. So just don't buy it. This is just some guy, it's the same amount of sources I do. No sources.
It literally is nothing.
But you do know that if I posted something like this, people would believe me.
Go
for no reason, but people would.
Go send out a trade offer for Hollywood Brown just in case.
Please do. Yeah, go send a trade offer to acquire him for a third. As much as I don't love Hollywood Brown, I would for a third round pick. I would love to acquire him if I could get that as an opportunity right now.
Ooh, okay, Alex, good question. What's up, guys? What sort of picks should I ask for when tearing down from Andrews to Hawk or Deontay Johnson to Chase Claypool? Would love to get my hands on some more first-round picks. I love this question. Go ahead.
Well, they're two totally separate questions. There's one thing there's one of these two I have some interest in, and the other two I have zero interest in. I have no interest in trading Deontay Johnson to Chase Claypool at all. Deontay Johnson is a buy or a hold to me, probably a buy, where Chase Claypool is a hold at best, maybe a sell. Whereas with Mark Andrews to TJ Hawkinson, I'm more interested because TJ Hawkinson is one of my biggest buys in all of Dynasty. Mark Andrews I like too, but I could see myself getting behind that. I don't know. What do you need? 2023 first or more? It's probably going to cost more. But if I could get in a tight end premium, even if I could somehow get Hawk and 23 firsts for Andrews, I would do it. Yeah.
What? Say it again. Hawk and
23 firsts with Hawk for Andrews.
Yeah.
Unlikely that I can actually do that though.
Yeah, depending on my team, this is the kind of trade you would have to overpay me so much to do this, because the kind of team, just take a look around your dynasty leagues. If the dynasty league has been around for 3 to 5 years, the kind of teams that win are not the ones with it's a team full of studs, and you can't having a bunch of first round picks it looks cool. It feels great. It's fun. It doesn't necessarily win you the last game of the season like you need to. You need studs. And this is just you'd have to overpay me to make those moves to go down. I want to go up on these. I don't want to give up first to do it, but you got to build a team full of studs.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But also the other thing is that I have yet to find someone who likes Chase Claypool but dislikes Deontay Johnson. So you're going to really struggle. There are plenty of people who dislike them both, but I've yet to find someone who, you're going to struggle with this.
Yeah, really true. This is probably my comment earlier about it was more that the whole league seemed to not be valuing them. And I was, that's more what my comment was on. It's just, Ridley, you probably properly valued those first, second, thirds and got good value from them. But a league full of players who are just throwing them around for nothing, that just is the kind of thing that sets a league off and you don't end up actually I
remember my first Dynasty league.
Yeah. Shane, Andreas, I have picks 103, 104, and 106. And drafting strategy with those are any drafting strategy with those picks, I think I'm willing to trade down if that's a sharp move. Thanks, love the show. Thanks, Shane.
I appreciate that, saying that you love the show. That I always love to hear that. I'm always willing to trade down, but I'm not particularly one way or another on that. So Yeah, drafting strategy, I would say draft for value. Don't lock yourself into anything early. The same things I always say. And just make sure to consider a quarterback at least. It's super flex. So quarterback should be in your mind in the early first round. If it's the right pick, make it. If not, then don't. But just remember that quarterbacks are worth more. So they'll be in your headspace at that point for sure.
I don't mind trying to take these 3 and turn them into 2 picks this year and get into a first next year. I don't mind trying to make some, doing some maneuvering that way. Just as an example, the 3, 4, and 6 right now in the early data, you got Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Matt Corral, something like that. That's not bad, but I'd rather take 2 of those guys and have 1 extra pick in 2023 that I can maneuver with too.
Yeah. You're also better off with these type of questions being very specific.
Yeah. Ed loves the new series. I always appreciate his comments underneath the videos. Thank you, Ed. And it's been a lot of fun making them. I've already recorded the one for this next week, and I can't wait for everybody to see it because I think it's a lot of fun. I'll probably announce on Twitter tomorrow who it is.
One day I will have an episode.
Yes, I
will be even more unleashed than I am on this show.
No doubt. Shane Holo's picks of the draft. That's another good point from Ed there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, then decide to move down potentially. Should be able to get more return on draft day. DJ Moore and the 205 or Gibson 304, 2024 third and a half PPR, non-super flex.
More side. Moore's worth more than Gibson. To me, anyway. So,
agreed.
Yeah, more side.
Yeah, really chimes in. Pete Carroll said earlier this week, I think that Carson's going to be ready for camp. Whatever that means is exactly
right. This is the same Pete Carroll who said that Chris Carson's injury was not a big deal and that he would return immediately. So last year, and then when did he return? So I don't remember him returning. So I don't believe a word Pete Carroll says.
Among the head coaches in the league that you trust the least, he's got to be high on that list.
He's one of the ones where I just take everything he says and just dump it in the trash can.
It means nothing.
It means nothing at all. Every player is great. Every player is going to be healthy, from his perspective.
Whereas Carroll is so optimistic, he would say that, and Kyle Shanahan's look, I don't even know if Chris Carson's going to be alive. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, Kyle Shanahan's the opposite. He's well, I don't know, and then 25 carries for that player.
Trogdor, what's up, Trogdor? Evening, gentlemen. Swift or 103 and 2 mid to late 2023 first. Are we getting 3 first for Swift?
This is too expensive. I'll take the picks. Too expensive.
Yeah.
I'm not paying that.
No, me neither.
No, I'm not paying an early first and then 223 is for anything less than one of those top quarterbacks in Superflex. Nothing else.
Thanks for the show, says Trogdor. Thank you for the question, Trogdor. Thank you for being somebody. He's been among the longest listeners of the show. Love it.
Yeah, my longest supporters too, Trogdor. Adam is my oldest supporter, though, pretty much.
MVZ podcast 111 210. Tony for Derrick Henry.
It's about right in terms of value, but the odds that it's the kind of thing where for me to voluntarily trade into an asset that I know is declining, will never go up in value again. I need about a 30 to 40% discount, and this is not a 30 to 40% discount. It's close. I mean, this is a discount. This is a discount, but it's not quite the discount I want. So I'll pass. But if I have Henry, I want more.
No, see, I would take this for Henry. I have him in one league.
It's almost hard for me to imagine. It's hard for me to imagine how could I even have Henry. The only way I have Henry, because I haven't drafted Henry, I would never have recommended drafting Henry for years in startups at this point. So the only way I have Henry is if I wake up on an orphan that happens to have Henry, which I guess on my Patreon could have him. Yeah. And I always say move him. And I'd want more than this. I'd shoot higher, but I don't know if you can get more.
By the way, we're doing a lot of startup questions here. Let me just say real quick, this is an appeal for adoption. Find an orphan and take over the worst one you can find and just see what you can do. It's a lot of fun. That is a great way for, to me to go test your skills. When you would trying to play Madden on like the highest level. Like that is go find an orphan somewhere, take it over, make it the worst one possible, and see if you can win that league in a couple years. Like there's so many like leagues where there are spots like that right now, and I just think like that is a good way to just jump into a new league and like you get players you don't normally have. You wouldn't normally draft these players. You get
I
to
wish
make
I
moves.
enjoyed that more, but I don't.
I have fun doing that. I try to do that every single year.
I like doing that on Patreon because then I like the hand holding, but like to do it myself, I don't get anything out of it. But I like it on Patreon because I get to, a lot of it is what I'm doing is someone made a mess and I'm coming in and cleaning it up. So I like that, but I don't want it to be my mess. I like helping more than I like doing at this point.
Ryan, it's too late, dude. You said what you said.
Yeah, no, you already said it.
Too late. Yeah, it's too late.
But yeah, Ryan is amazing and puts up with just as much of me as you do. So I appreciate that.
Addison is awesome. Who at DLF is awesome. It's true. I just happen to really enjoy Addison. So.
Oh man. Next question.
No, yeah. Okay, yeah, really truther, Cal Unibomb, best combo of Potters with you and Tyler, opposites attract his finest, and Addison's little daily YouTube clips are so underrated. He really does a great job with those. So yes,
I mean, I've said this many times. Like, I don't just give endorsements because someone is at DLF. Addison is actually a friend of mine. So, and he's been very supportive of me and my work on this channel and otherwise, especially with my work on Excel. For a very long time. So I really appreciate Addison, both as a person and as a content creator.
And he's been really instrumental in that new show too. He helps me out a lot. So
yeah, no, I wouldn't know about that, but I'm sure that he contributes to everything on the YouTube channel.
Shane says, I have a full roster plus 5 players on IR who aren't anymore. I also 5 draft picks in this 2022 draft. I think all my roster players are worth a roster spot. What ways should I downsize?
I like this question.
Me too.
So MFL just rolled over. So for a lot of people, the 2024 picks just got unlocked. So try to trade some of it. People hate when I do this. Like, this is why I have enemies in my leagues. They hate it. It's like I'll take the time to offer like Craig Reynolds for everyone's 2024 fifth. I'll do it. I don't care. Yeah. It'll make them not like me, and I do not care. So that's how get rid of those.
I play in leagues with like that, and I don't understand like the line you have to walk to not have people not like you. Like, is if you don't ever offer trades, people don't like you. If you offer the trades too many times, people don't like you. At this point, whatever.
I play in leagues with other content creators, and some of them look at my content and they want to be me. So I get why they don't like me anyway.
Shane trying to send players you can part with for future picks. Definitely that. And easier said than done. That's what I'm trying to do this week. Selling bottom of the roster. Yeah. I mean, also obviously like trying to do 2-for-1s, but it just depends on what situation everybody else's roster is into.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is push picks from this year into next year if you're really on a crunch. And that's something you can do.
Skip says, can you guys explain a little bit more of why having those draft picks as free assets are important? Guys think if their players are young, they don't need them picks. What do you think?
Well, picks don't get hurt. Picks don't move teams or have anything else bad happen to them. So they're going to rise in value over time. Mm-hmm. But you don't need picks. I mean, there are other assets. You can get other assets. I mean, picks are going to rise, but young players often rise in value faster than picks if they're really ascending. So, if you're rebuilding, you probably want to build around picks because they're the only thing guaranteed to rise in value over time. And that's you rebuild by rebuilding the value deficit that you have on your roster, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's how you rebuild. So I always suggest rebuilding around picks. And there are some people who say you don't have to, but I think that those people, don't are often not inheriting teams that are as bad as some of the ones I'm seeing, or, just don't rebuild and just cycle. And then when their team isn't good after a few years, they just leave the league. So, they don't actually rebuild and stay. And the only way to really do that, if it's really bad, is to build through draft capital. There is no other way to really get out of a hole other than start to accumulate assets are going to rise in value. That's the only way really to do it.
Yeah, I think so. Number one, like Ridley said, you don't have to have your draft picks. That's not the point. Is not like you have to have them. It's just like trading them because you don't think they're valuable is foolish.
You don't always need to rebuild. Sometimes you can retool. You do not, just because you need to make some changes doesn't mean you need to rebuild. But if you're going to do a full rebuild, you need to do it through picks. There is no other way if your team is really that bad.
Yep. So, for instance, the 11th. So, if it's okay, who cares about? Okay, the 111 last year was Elijah Moore. The 112 was Michael Carter. You're telling me like you can't use these players on your team? I mean, that's that. I think to me, it's one of those like even if it's a late pick, like okay, that's fine, but like you adding talented young players to your team and flipping those who are getting older, like that's the one, like that would be the better move to me.
Yes. You want to take players that are descending and turn them into picks. So players like Derrick Henry, who are guaranteed to descend in value, turn that into a pick that's guaranteed to ascend in value. And then you're turning your value curve around.
Yep. Ed says most Dynasty players don't take those 2-for-1 type trades where you gain roster space as well.
Ed, you have to remember that not everyone you play against is me.
This is true, but also I will say, like, I like the idea of doing this at the top end of your roster, not the bottom.
So do I. So I like doing it at all parts. All parts, I like doing this.
Sure, but like instead of offering Craig Reynolds and Josh Reynolds for Rashad Bateman or something, which I see a lot of people do that. That's a dumb trick. Like, go up to the top end of your roster and try to turn. Yeah, like try to turn J.K. Dobbins into Jonathan Taylor with some extra players in there too, or something. You know what I mean? Like go to the top end of your roster and do this because clearly you've been good at accumulating talent. Like you've got a roster, more than a roster full of good players. So you want, not only do you want to clear out some space to be able to use those players on IR and those draft picks, you also want to be able to take and have extra spots for you to churn the bottom of your roster too. So
you're right. But typically what I often find is that the deals I like the best are the ones where I have a player that I wanted in the past, like Terrace Marshall or De'Ami Brown, that I do not want anymore.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I often find that the best move is to take like Terrace Marshall and the 206 and try to turn that into the 201.
Yeah.
Those tend to be the ones I get the most done. Is moving up picks with a player like not Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds is too low. Try to toss him for a fifth. But someone like Terrace Marshall, people think, oh, the 206 and the 201 or the 202 are similar. Terrace Marshall, is something. So I can move back a few spots. And I'm almost always on the one side of that deal. Those are the kind of trades I often end up doing.
Love it. Who dat dude? Now that Peyton is gone with the Saints drafted LSU player. This is the thing. People don't realize it, but the Saints just don't draft LSU players. We always want them to. They never do.
Nonsense.
But Mickey Loomis is still there. So no, I don't know if it was Peyton or who it was. I think it's the same.
You wouldn't like my discussion on the Saints on my show that I had. I said they were in for disaster.
Yeah, I don't know that I would disagree right now based on where they are.
I actually thought that Mitchell Trubisky would be their next starting quarterback. I think it's very likely.
I would have liked Daboll and Trubisky. But
yeah, unfortunately, Daboll's in New York. But Trubisky, I think, could be the Saints' next starter. I think it would be very interesting.
John Garrett's, have we vaulted Cam Akers back up in the ranks too quickly? Play hasn't been great. Are we just willing to overlook multiple games just because he came back so soon? Okay, I don't know if you remember, but before the playoffs started, when he was about to come back, I was like, he can only hurt his ADP. He can't help it. And that's exactly, I think, the situation that we are in. Like, there are a lot of people now questioning him, where if we just didn't see him, they'd be like, wow, he was ready to come back and they didn't take him back in and all, everybody would be, I think his ADP would be higher had he not come back at all in the playoffs.
Good. More for me then. I have him as Dynasty RB7, so I'm good.
Few different questions. Man, I got to go through these fast. I'm sorry. Okay, what would you pay in terms of picks for Judy, Dobbins, Woods?
I promised the people overtime, so to make up for whatever I was doing at the beginning of the show. But okay, Judy, I'm not buying unless I get a massive discount, which I'm not going to get. So forget him. Woods, I'm also not buying. So Dobbins is the only one I'd actually consider buying, and I'm fine giving like 2 mid-firsts for Dobbins, and or in 1 QB, I'll give any pick other than the 101.
Yeah,
for example.
So let me just say, I agree with Ed. It's remarkable that he even played, let alone that was even a full go. So this is not me saying I think it shows that he's bad. I agree, but I think the public is going to see and have this kind of question about him because they saw it. I think sometimes just seeing it and seeing like the quote unquote failure, but like the Bengals had a really good run defense too. Like there were a lot of reasons that went behind this more than just like, don't focus on the actual stats don't matter in terms of him. This is what matters right here, what Ed is saying.
So do you want to hear? So I am now on the clock in the DLF, one of the DLF rookie mocks. So to give you an idea. So Garrett Wilson was 101, which I thought was odd. Then Hall, Burks, Spiller, London, Jamison Williams, Kenneth Walker, George Pickens, then Isaiah Likely, which I don't understand, and then Chris Olave, which makes more sense. So I don't understand why Isaiah Likely was. Is there something about Isaiah Likely I should know? I don't think so, right? Why he was picked in the first round, I don't understand. But now that brings me up at 111. So my options are Kyron Williams, David Bell, Jahan Dotson. Just give you an idea of who might be available. Those kind of players. I think should go with Kyron Williams, just hoping for the running back, but it gets ugly. In a 1 QB, it gets ugly really fast. And, that's with a pick wasted on Isaiah Likely. So,
right.
Yeah, just keep in mind that those late firsts could be rough.
Good question from Dustin. Popular name, has been Madison this offseason, in my opinion, in drafts. Would you be willing to sell Madison? I know after Cook is gone, he will be a good fantasy producer, but he will probably be near 25 when that finally happens. Is there a reason for concern?
I have no interest in Alexander Madison at all.
Yeah, I almost disagree with the premise.
Yeah, I disagree with the premise also.
I think Madison is a good backup running back.
I think Cook will still be there when Madison is gone.
Yeah, I don't think their plan is to hand the reins over from Cook to Madison.
No, Madison is a free agent after 2022, and I don't think they re-sign him. So, no, I think Cook will still be there and Madison will be gone, like I said.
Yep, I agree. Okay. And I don't think we can just assume guys like Madison step up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm with Ed.
Who dat, dude? My Dynasty running back room is like an episode of The Walking Dead. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, Dobbins, Etienne, Sanders, Rojo, Michelle.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I would do though, like specifically. Just
who could the J be in here? What would I don't know. What would you do?
What would I do? I don't know. Hold Dobbins, trade Saquon away.
People are still giving up a lot for Saquon right now.
Apparently.
And that to me is,
mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's just people who think they know better. That's all it is. It's people who think that they know better. It's just they think that they know that Saquon is good. And, just because he wasn't, even though he wasn't good. He wasn't good in 2021. They find some excuse to say that he was. But he's not. He's not good. And you do hear like reputable podcasts, fantasy footballers, fantasy pros. They've said the same thing I did, that Davonte Booker looked just as good, if not better. It's not just me. I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one saying this. It's a lot of people are saying it. So, yeah, but there are some people who are just insistent that Saquon Barkley is still an all-world talent, and he is not.
Daniel McGrath, Amanra 205 and 207, or Renfro in the 105.
I'll take the Amanra side. Yeah, barely. Take the Amanra side. It's close. That's a fair trade.
Yeah, I think it's a fair trade. Who's more likely to be number one wide receiver, Devonta Smith or Elijah Moore? Why not both?
What are we talking about? A fantasy wide receiver one? It'll never be Devonta Smith. So Elijah Moore.
Never?
Fantasy wide receiver one? No way. No way. There's no way. I mean, it's not going to happen in Jalen Hurts offense. We have the same problem here. That it is another Baltimore. It's another Baltimore. Same problem. So I don't think is Devonta Smith materially better than Hollywood Brown or Rashad Bateman? I don't think so. So what if they add someone? I mean, they're going to have to add somebody, right? I mean, they're going to go in with this group of garbage. I don't think they are. I'd rather have, for my fantasy wide receivers, I'd rather have Zach Wilson as my quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Now, I'd rather have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback for my NFL team or my fantasy team. But for my fantasy wide receivers, I would rather have Zach Wilson than Jalen Hurts as my quarterback.
Interesting.
Jalen Hurts is not a good passing quarterback, never has been, never will be. I don't think. Your hope, best case scenario, is that Jalen Hurts is average as a passer. That is the best case scenario. That's what you're hoping for. Average. I don't like that as the best case scenario.
Hey, Eric chiming in. What's up, Eric? Appreciate you in here answering some questions. Harris Highlights, how do you guys value Dalvin Cook?
Not very highly.
He's available in my league.
Well,
like
then he
on free agency?
No. He's talking about a trade here.
Okay.
We're not trading for Dalvin Cook. We're not going to trade for Dalvin Cook. We're never going to give up anywhere near what it would cost. So we won't trade for Dalvin Cook. So I can save you some time by just saying no.
The way the question's worded, it sounds like he's like on free agency.
But either way, we're not going to trade for Dalvin Cook.
No. Andrew Carlson, 1 QB league, PPR 12 person, J.K. Dobbins for 2023 first, 2024 first, 2024 second, and another 2024 second.
I'll take Dobbins in the 1 QB for the picks most of the picks are 2024, which is so far away. I'll take Dobbins.
2 first, 2 second. I mean, that's
if that other first were in 2023, I would want that side, but it's not.
Should Anthony continue to stash Jordan Love or trade him for Jameis Winston?
I mean, these two have almost identical value to me.
No one has been more critical of Jameis Winston than me, and this to me is very clearly him.
I mean,
Jameis Winston has a top 3 finish in fantasy? Top
right,
5
but
finish?
Is Jameis Winston ever going to be a franchise quarterback again? Ever?
Is Jordan Love going to ever start another ball game again?
I don't think he will. But what if I'm wrong? If I'm wrong, then Jordan Love is going to carry a lot more value. Like if the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love is the starter, Jordan Love is going to have double the value of Jameis Winston.
Winston's going to be a starter after the season too.
Fair or unfair, that's what's going to happen. I disagree with it. I think it's crazy. I think Jordan Love sucks. I think Jordan Love will get every single person in the Packers front office and coaching staff fired. I think he is awful. But it doesn't matter. If I'm wrong and the Packers decide to start Jordan Love anyway, he'll carry way more value than Jameis Winston, who I think people have given up on. He's not a franchise quarterback. People in Superflex are not going to value him like a franchise quarterback, whereas Jordan Love still has the potential to be valued that way. With that said, I do not want Jordan Love on my Dynasty team, period. He is a bust. So I don't want him, but I don't really want Jameis Winston either. I don't spend a lot of time with these types of quarterbacks in Superflex. These are the guys I ignore. The guys I ignore are like this range, below the franchise, but above the backups. So like you won't see me with any Carson failure, Jimmy Garoppolo, Love, Goff, Ryan at this point, older like that, Winston, Darnold. You're not going to see me with any of those guys ever. You'll see me go higher or lower, but not this range. So I won't really have either of these guys.
What up, PJ? What's up, fellas? ASAP. Yeah, if you can get anything, I guess.
I'm highly concerned about him because who's going to be the quarterback in New Orleans? Mitch Trubisky. Is that going to be a good thing? We want Mitch Trubisky as the quarterback? I don't think so. But I think that's likely.
Which side do you prefer? 12 team, Superflex, PPR, 2 tight end, Trevor Lawrence, or the 102?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. I have a lot of things to say about Trevor Lawrence.
Many things. But yeah, I'll take Trevor Lawrence.
Really, I'm currently the Pippin manager on that offer. Kind of feel the same way. Yeah, sorry. You're adding, yeah, there you go. Interesting trade offer today. 12-team Superflex. I was offered Higgins and 2023 first for Jamar Chase. I'm in a productive struggle looking to compete in 2023, and the picks are mid to late first. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I don't think any player is worth T. Higgins and 223 first outside of those quarterbacks, maybe. So, because Higgins is worth at least the 23 first on his own, probably more. So I think I'd take it. I heard people talking about, I was on some podcasts, Higgins and like 124 first, and that wasn't nearly enough, but it's hard to turn this down. Is any wide receiver is not worth this. And it's even super flex. So you have the quarterbacks. Even in a 1 QB, I would consider this offer pretty heavily. I think I have to take it. It would hurt, but I think I have to take it.
Yep. Jacob Johnson, DJ Moore, and 205.
We answered this already with the Moore side. We had that question already.
Anytime somebody just wants to write failure in here, we're going to pull it up.
We haven't talked about Clyde yet.
We can ignore that. Yeah, Jalen Reagor has so much strikes. Speaking of failure.
Yeah, I think that's about right. He has so many strikes that he ended the inning himself. That is an elite comment. Elite. Oh no, this comment's elite. I love it.
Yes. This one needs to be starred just for comedy purposes. Okay. Zach Cooper, Superflex, full PPR, competing team, Dalvin Cook or Antonio Gibson, the 2024 late first.
Oh, I want Gibson over Cook on his own, so I'll take Gibson.
Really? I don't know. I mean, I know Cook's older, but like,
I'll take Gibson and take my chances.
I think if you had to put an amount of money that mattered to you on who was going to have more RB1 weeks for the rest of eternity, are you taking Cook or Gibson?
The rest of eternity?
Yeah. Forget how old they are. Who's going to have more RB1 weeks? Dalvin Cook or Antonio Gibson?
It's close. But if they're all going to come in 1 year for Cook, then I'd rather have Gibson.
Yeah. Mitchell Grady, Superflex 14 team, half PPR, Dobbins 2023 first, 2023 second, or Najee in a second. That's a
close.
tough one.
I don't want it. Like if I have Dobbins, I'm not adding a first to Dobbins to go to Najee. So yeah, I think I'm not doing that from that perspective. From the other side, if I have Najee, am I going to take this? Maybe. If that second is actually there, it would change things. If I'm getting a first and a second with Dobbins, I like it a lot better.
Yeah. Cat Zero shipped Elijah Mitchell, Zach Wilson, and Evan Ingram for George Kittle and DJ Moore. 12-team Superflex. Did I crush it?
Well, you've improved your team by eliminating Evan Ingram. That one, you've improved it. Other than that, I mean, it's tight end premium. If it is, then I'm fine with the Kittle side. If it's not a tight end premium, then I still like the Kittle side, but I'm not like doing jumping jacks.
If 27-year-old Evan Ingram signs with the Indianapolis Colts in free agency, are you interested in redraft?
No.
I kind of am.
No. I'll be interested in Evan Ingram if I get points for dropped passes or times run the wrong route or, times where he hurt his team. If I get points for those things, then all
right. What if he signs in Jacksonville?
Oh, good. Then he can, not do anything.
Okay. Doug Peterson and his 33% target share.
Which would mostly go to Dan Arnold.
I would much rather go to Dan Arnold. How much would you pay in picks for Lamb?
Oh, I mean, I would pay over the 101 in a 1 QB. Even a Superflex, I would pay the 101 at this point. So 101 plus, yeah.
Mitchell Grady, Superflex 14 team, half PPR, Dobbins 2020. Oh, did we do this? We did this.
We did this.
All right. Took forever to trade Pitts because I don't like paying full price. Yeah. Frank Neal, would you trade Mooney, Bateman, and 201 for Waddle?
You'll get laughed at with this offer. It's not enough. Waddle is
okay.
Yeah, no, if you have Waddle and you're off, like let's say you had Waddle and you were offered this, you would laugh this offer off. This offer is way too little.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. But this offer, if it gets accepted, have a parade, but this offer won't get accepted. Waddle is worth a first more than this.
We are about to hit the hour 30 mark right now, which means we're in overtime. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Go down there, hit the button. If it's red, that means you're not subscribed.
Also, definitely make sure to leave a comment. Leave a comment with something that you liked or didn't like if you're nice about it. And I will respond to the comments because that helps the algorithm.
Also, every time you hit the like button, Addison gets his wings. He's happy. He, like, wherever he is, I don't care if you're in Australia and it's 2 a.m. over here in the States, like, Addison will smile.
No, he knows. He knows. Yeah. In his sleep, he knows.
There will be, like, sweet dreams like he will have because you hit the like button. Like, what does that cost you? Like, nothing. And it's like Addison gets happy when you do that. So do it.
It's true.
Devin Michael, DJ Moore for Amanra, 204 and a 2022 second and a 10 team. Which side would you prefer?
I'll take DJ Moore, but I get it. I get it. I totally understand this trade.
DJ Moore for Amanra and 2 second-round picks.
I understand it though. I get it. I get why someone would want to do this trade. Amanra was better more recently, so I get it. Right? It's not crazy, but I would take DJ Moore. But reasonable trade.
Trevon Bulger, would you trade DK and Amanra for Chris Godwin and Davonte Adams?
Good question.
No.
Very close. I do like Chris Godwin a lot. I don't really want to trade into Davonte Adams. I guess I would take DK and Amanra, but I understand the argument for the other side. I just like DK. And also, I think Russell Wilson is staying in Seattle. At least for this year. I think it's pretty clear at this point. And
I think it doesn't matter.
Oh, I think it does matter. Not that much, but I'd rather have Russell Wilson than not. Right? I mean, the replacement's not going to be better. I don't think.
Yeah, it just he was the wide receiver 4 in the games that Geno Smith started. So it's not like he was bad.
It's a small sample size, and I agree with you that I don't think I think that if Russell Wilson did leave, DK would become the biggest buy in all of Dynasty. But I'd still rather that Russell Wilson stays. So that's popped up DK's value a little bit for me. So I'll lean more toward that side than I would have.
The best 2774 as a team in rebuild. What should I try to get for Diggs and Aaron Rodgers? 10 team Superflex PPR.
Well, these are both sells for me. You won't have any trouble getting the value you want, but I would want for Aaron Rodgers. People were telling me on my Dynasty quarterback rankings that he should be in my Dynasty top 12. So lots of people, like 20 or 30 comments of just that. So you won't have any trouble getting the value for Rodgers that I would want. I would just try for Rodgers. My goal would be, how about, the first thing I would try what about like Justin Fields or Trey Lance plus? It's not realistic, right? You say, oh, no one's going to do that. No one's that stupid. You'd be surprised. Try it and then tell me no one would do it. If you try it and don't do it, then, well, you didn't do it. What did you lose? But go and try that. If that doesn't work out, then maybe how about Mac Jones? Jalen Hurts would be a good one. But what about Mac Jones then? Maybe Mac Jones plus? You can do that. I don't know. I think those are your best options. Try to get a younger quarterback plus for Aaron Rodgers. As for Stephon Diggs, you could just trade him straight across for a pick. 103, 104. I would try to get that. I would just do that.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers right now is going as the QB 10. So theoretically,
that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Could you get Deshaun Watson for him?
Oh, I think you could, and I would do it easily. I take Deshaun Watson.
Anthony says, what to do if you're a contending team with Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Chase Edmonds, and no first until 2024.
Well, what can you do, right? I mean, you're probably running it back. It depends on the rest of your roster, of course. I mean, are you really a contending team? And that's for you to decide.
Start shopping those first in 2024, but just don't trade them for nothing. So, hey guys, dropping by, showing love for the show. Appreciate that, Spock. Zach Cooper, my other running backs my running backs other than Cook maybe in that specific league are those are the guys. Loaded up all other positions. Really a question of, is that enough to trade out to Gibson? Okay.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I mean, you have McCaffrey, Akers, Swift, and Sanders, and Etienne, and Ramondre Stevenson. You don't need running back. Not that I would be worried even if you did, but by any stretch, I don't see any reason to worry about this here. I think you're fine.
Do you want Gibson or Cam Akers?
Cam Akers.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Better offense.
Tyler, what are you doing with Kittle? Are you downgrading to get a lower value tight end plus something else?
Well, I'm fine with that because the two next tight ends kind of in the range are TJ Hawkinson and Dallas Goedert, who are two of my biggest dynasty buys. So if I can get something significant plus with those guys for Kittle, I would love to do it.
Yeah, if I can get Hawkinson, fine. But like I just don't know. I just think those tight ends are very valuable if they can be difference makers, and Kittle can.
They could be, but sometimes he's not a difference maker.
Sometimes he's not. Other times he is.
But the answer to that question is generally yes.
We
trading down from Kittle.
We know there's 45 tight ends that are not going to be difference makers. Let's not trade into those.
I like targeting TJ Hawkinson though.
Yeah. 1 QB league. Dobbins for the 110?
Absolutely. Dobbins easily.
You want Dobbins?
Yeah.
Way more.
Way more. Yeah, it's not close.
If you have Watson in a Superflex league, what is the least you would accept to trade him away? Don't do this right now.
I've basically said if you had Watson, just at times either, trade him for a big offer or just forget you have him. The least I would accept to trade him away. I mean, I still would like to get out from Deshaun Watson, but, I don't know. The 101 would be nice.
Yes. I feel like the more time that goes by, and again, look, not even dealing like this is a Dynasty fantasy football show, so this is not a comment on him, but the more time that goes by, the less I think he's going to do any kind of jail time. I'm not a lawyer. I don't have, any background on that, but it just feels like the more time that goes by, the less likely that seems to me. And I feel like he's going to play this year. I don't know if he's going to have a suspension or what he's going to have. Probably going to serve some kind of time, 6 games, 8 games, whatever. But I think he's coming back, and when he does, he's in that elite tier. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm starting to get slightly concerned that there's been nothing. I would have thought there would have been something. But I do agree that if the smoking gun were out there, if there were the thing that could send him to jail, we would already know about it. I don't think that exists. I think if it existed, we would know. It doesn't take this long. I don't, I have a degree in sports management, so not law, but I do know a little bit about these kind of things. And typically sports investigations like this are very thorough, done in the public eye, and they do them a little quicker. And if that piece of evidence existed, they would have found it. So I don't think it exists, which means that we're going to deal with a civil proceeding, which could take who knows how long, but it will result in Deshaun Watson more than likely coming back eventually. With that said, I would not expect, do not count Deshaun Watson on your 2022 roster. Don't count him. You don't rely on him. Don't count him. Don't assume you're going to have him. This will be what I would tell you. But eventually he will come back. It's not going to be never. I don't think.
So this is Randy had the question. He's got the 14-team league that's going to Superflex in 2023. Brady was the quarterback. Would you, first of all, don't drop Brady yet.
Don't drop him.
Come back. We've seen it before. Would you trade DeAndre Swift for 101, 201, and a 2023 first? Or is 101 and 2023 first enough?
101 and 23 first is enough. I don't need the second. But I mean, I'd love to get that, but I don't need that.
I think you have to draft this draft as if it's a super flex league now.
Yeah, pretty much. But either way, a 101 and 23 first is enough.
You guys love Pitts. Do you trade him for Kelsey? No.
Of course not.
Absolutely not.
No. Pitts is worth 3 Kelseys at this point in Dynasty. More. That's honestly probably about right. Pitts is probably worth about 3 Kelseys.
Pitts over everyone in Dynasty. I don't know about everyone, but I wouldn't mind if you took him in the top in a 1 QB league. If you took him in the top 5, I wouldn't be super mad at you.
Yeah, I have him at 6.
He will still be 21 when he plays next.
Crazy. I'm fine taking him at 4. The only players I have in a tier above Pitts in 1 QB are Taylor, Chase, and Jefferson.
Oldak, 14 team, 1 QB PPR traded 108 for Judy straight up.
It's not a discount. I mean, yeah, I probably, if I had Judy, I would probably hold if I were offered that, but I would not want to trade into Judy except at a discount because people don't like him. So I wouldn't do this.
So that's like right now, like Chris Olave, David Bell, George Pickens, Kyron Williams.
Yeah, but it's opportunity cost. With the 108, I think I can do better than trading into Judy. Like, I don't think that's my best option if I have the 108 now.
Yeah, Kelsey plus to get Pitts.
Oh, way plus, but those are not even close.
I think Judy is worth a little bit more. You know, like, honestly, this sounds crazy to someone who I guess doesn't do a lot of Dynasty stuff. And it's part of the reason why the Dynasty crowd can get a bad rap sometimes, because it's likely, or at least possible, maybe not likely, but it's certainly probably a better % chance that Kelsey is going to outscore Pitts next year in points. Like, that's not a crazy thing, but it's just, you got a 32-year-old tight end versus one that's going to be 21 when the season starts next year. And that's gigantic.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Anyway, really, how hard should we be trying to move for lottery 2023 first top 6 pick? What is the level of player you'd be willing to deal straight up for a top 4 2023 pick? 1 QB league.
Are we talking about a pick I know is going to be top 4 or a pick I think is going to be top 4? Because those are not the same. Either way, I mean, pretty high level player. Like, let's say somehow I knew it was going to be a top 4 player. Then, I would give up, I'd give up Saquon Barkley for that. I'd give up Elijah Mitchell, Terry McLaurin, Godwin. If I knew for sure it would be top 4.
Yeah, that's the right range.
Yeah. But like players I wouldn't give up, like Dobbins, Akers, Eckler. I'd need more.
Zach Cooper, how much is fair to add to Dalvin Cook to upgrade to Jamar Chase in a 12-team?
There's no such thing as adding to Dalvin Cook to upgrade to Jamar Chase. That's not a realistic question, because those players are not anywhere near close in value. So I would say
a lot.
223 first gets the conversation started, and that's not enough.
TJ Banks, how much value do running QBs like Lamar and Kyler lose when it goes from 4 points for a passing TD to 6 points for a passing TD? Thanks, and great show. Thanks, TJ.
Yeah, that's a good question. So if we go to 6 point, then I would probably have, right now I have Kyler at 3, Herbert at 4, Lamar at 5, and Burrow at 6. If we went to a 6 point, I would have, Herbert, Burrow, Kyler, Lamar. But that's a tier. So it wouldn't change a tier, but it would change, players within a tier. For example, some other things like I have, where else would it matter? I mean, I have, wouldn't change too much else really. If went to a 6 point passing touchdown, I have, I'm not seeing too much else I would change. That's one of the big changes. I would change the order slightly at the top. I would go to Herbert and Burrow above Kyler and Lamar. But I'm looking at my whole rankings and I'm not seeing another change I would make.
Yeah, I still feel like I'd want Lamar, because it's not like Lamar doesn't throw touchdowns. Like, Lamar had a 36 touchdown season.
But who would you bet on throwing more touchdowns, Herbert, Burrow, or Lamar? If you had to bet throwing more passing touchdowns.
Okay, but this doesn't mean you don't get points for those rushing yards.
You do, but it's enough. They were close in scoring. I mean, Herbert and Burrow scored pretty well, especially Herbert. So it would be enough for me to change it when I have them close anyway.
Yeah.
It's more that with 6 point passing touchdowns, there is the upside that Herbert and Burrow could be a difference maker. Whereas with 4 point passing touchdowns, it is hard for Joe Burrow to ever break fantasy. But with 6-point passing touchdowns, he could do it with passing alone. If he scores 50 passing touchdowns, he could do it. If that's 300 points instead of 200, that's all the difference in the world. That's what I'm saying is the upside is unlocked with the 6-point passing touchdowns for guys like Herbert and Burrow. Whereas with only 4, you're always waiting on that upside that you're not going to get with the Konami code guys. That's all.
Yeah. Let's go here.
Like Ed said, I think that was the only ranking change in my entire quarterback ranking that changed. Just that. Because it's the only tier in which I have, primarily pocket passers in the same tier as primarily, not pocket passers. Because I rank 4-point passing touchdown by standard. So it's the only one where I had the pocket passer behind. So that was the only change that would have been made.
Oldak, James Robinson in the 205, 14 team, 1 QB PPR for Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, no, James Robinson is just too much of a maybe. So I'll go for Ayuk.
Yeah, me too. He's saying Jesus. I know, but I was trying to.
I know, but yeah, someone asked me on Twitter a question about what happens after you die. So
okay. As a Davonte Smith owner, I'm hoping Hurts gets replaced soon. I get it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think you might have to wait for that.
FF Lefty, better late than never. What's up, fellas? What's up, FF Lefty? Glad you were able to join us. OMZH, Justin Jefferson for AJ Brown and 2 late first.
I'll take Brown in the first. Yeah, Brown in the first.
Yes. AJ Brown's very good. I know he's not Jefferson, but
no, he's not Jefferson, but he's still good.
Yeah, everybody can rally behind.
Yeah, that's probably. It's funny. I still get pushback on that though. But I noticed that all those people are from Packers Twitter.
Dude from Viking Quest, Tyler, I see Christian Watson has moved up your rookie rankings a couple times since he was added. What have you seen in him that you like so far?
Oh, you're giving away the stuff from the Patreon. But that's fine.
We'll take it.
No, it's okay. No, go back.
All right.
No, it's fine. Yeah, he's just been getting a lot of hype.
Jaden Sharp, who do you think?
I think fantasy was auto-corrected there.
What is this?
That's an autocorrect I have not seen. Let me tell you.
Who do you think is a better tight end producer over the next 2 years, Pitts or Andrews? Touchdown producer? I don't know what that's supposed to be.
If it's fantasy, I'll go for Andrews, barely. But I think it'll be closer than people think.
I go Pitts.
Over the next 2 years, I think it'll be Andrews. But, if I think the production, Pitts will give you 85 or 90%. And then after 2 years, you're left with a 23-year-old asset versus a 29-year-old asset. So
I think if you think Mark Andrews is going to outproduce Kyle Pitts, then he should be number 1 for inside.
Incorrect. It's because after 2 years, if I think Pitts is going to give you 90% of the production and then is going to be worth double the value, not at all. Then Pitts would be way higher in my dynasty rankings. Ryan McDowell talks about this all the time. Buying back years, 85, 90% of production, and then 5 extra years. He talks about this all the time.
Sure, but I think this. I don't like this application of it because
no, I do.
Andrews is still pretty young too.
No, not young enough.
I think he will pass Pitts in value if Pitts cannot overtake him. He's got to overtake.
If Pitts does what I said and produces 90% of Andrews' value over the next 2 years, Pitts will be worth way more. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't have to pass him.
Zach Cooper, PPR, Superflex, and a direct trade. What is Pittman's pick value? You have a chart for this.
Yeah, I do. And I will give you the answer. Well, let's see. Between 107 and 108.
Awesome. Dan wants to know if we're following Hollywood Brown on Twitch.
No, I'm not following Hollywood Brown on Twitch. Is there actually something I should know?
No, he's not going to Twitch, Daniel.
He's not going to retire.
Go make an offer If you take nothing away from tonight, other than
Go
this,
make an offer, a third for Hollywood Brown. Go make the offer right now.
do a second. Like try to get him.
No, get greedy.
Grant Singleton, 12 team, Superflex tight end, premium dynasty startup. Draft order is 3rd round reversal. Can you rank your favorite drafting spots? What's your top 3?
Can I rank my favorite drafting spots? I'll take the 106.
Whoever won Scott Fishbowl, where did they draft from? Do you know?
I don't know.
I never looked at it. I
don't know, man.
I should have, but this made me think about that.
Yeah, I'll take the 106.
I was towards the end. I was terrible, but I had a terrible draft. I don't want to talk about it. Are there any vets you're trading for, Carp, or are you age over everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting way to ask that. I mean, we've talked about vets I would trade for, right? So
I would trade for Josh Jacobs. He's 23 years old.
I mean, I've discussed him on the show. I mean, but yeah, you'll notice that we don't talk about trading for a lot of really old players on the show. I don't tend to do that. I don't tend to trade for players that are past the age curve. So, for a running back, that'll be anyone 26 or older. For a wide receiver, 28, 29. Tight end is more complicated because there are fewer of them. And quarterback, it's usually anyone past 36, 37.
Good question here from Anthony. It was offered Mahomes, Chubb, Higbee, 4, Hurts, Eckler, Miles Sanders, Penny, Kittle, in a super flex tight end premium league. Considering, but I feel like I'm giving up too much.
Yeah, well, let's see. So Eckler and Chubb are kind of similar. I'd rather have Eckler. Kittle is worth a lot in tight end premium. Really like Mahomes. It does feel a little rich to give up, essentially giving up Kittle and tight end premium. Penny's worth more than Higbee. You're giving up Sanders also, and then another high-end quarterback in Hurts just for Mahomes, and downgrading from Higbee to Penny and Chubb to Eckler. So I can get why you don't want to do this. I don't know. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm going to Chubb, who I don't want, and then Mahomes I like, but to pay all of this, I'd probably pass.
I feel like the biggest problem with this is you're not getting somebody better than Higbee.
It's less that. It's more that Mahomes is he's good, but he's one of many now. He's not the guy at the top like he was. He's one of many. So I'm to pay up for Mahomes is just not something I'm doing now. Whereas in the past, I was more open to it.
Would you trade Saquon 110 and 204 for CeeDee Lamb?
Yes. Yes, if I had to.
Freiermuth and Bateman for Waller?
Oh, no. Freiermuth and Bateman.
Yeah. I'm not trying to acquire.
No, I don't want to.
Waller right now.
I don't want to acquire Waller at all. He's a hard avoid for me.
I don't know why I would give away Pittman for a shot at a rookie wide receiver. Rookie Fever's doing that. Did we suggest that?
I did.
I don't know. Who's going to be his quarterback next year? And is he going to be
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah. And I mean, I like Pittman, but let's not act like
Pittman is a sell now.
He's not Jamar Chase.
And he'll be a buy after they sign Allen Robinson or Chris Godwin or someone in free agency, because they're going to.
Yeah. But I agree you shouldn't be trading him for just any rookie wide receiver.
No, I wouldn't just give him away, but I'm a little concerned, but not that concerned. Put it that way.
Yeah, so Treylon Burks is not Jamar Chase. That's going to get people in trouble this season. Like they think there's just like Justin Jeffersons and Jamar Chase growing on trees. Yeah, there's not. But could he be Michael Pittman?
Somebody?
Could he be Michael Pittman? Yes. And
Pittman didn't do anything as a rookie.
If there's a
nothing at all.
If there's a 50% chance that he can be Michael Pittman, you trade for him. You take the rookie.
Correct.
That is explained in my video with Adam Harstead, which you should go watch on the Dynasty Refinery.
It's less that. It's more that's part of it. That's part of it. But the other thing is, I'm fairly confident that I know what Michael Pittman's ceiling is not.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas there are some players where I'm not as confident. Like we have 2 years. Who's a good example? Okay. T. Higgins, less confident. in what T. Higgins' ceiling isn't. Whereas, like with Michael Pittman, I am confident that Michael Pittman is never going to be a top 5 player. Never a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Never a top 5 receiver in fantasy. He's just not that. So since I'm confident that the high end ceiling isn't there, I'm more likely to gamble on a rookie wide receiver over him than I would with other guys. Put it that way.
Yeah, he was the wide receiver 19. I mean,
a long way. Wide receiver 19 with 0 target competition at all. Right. None. So it's not going to get better on the target competition front. It could get better on the quarterback front, but not the target competition front.
Super Cooper, 10-man, Superflex, give Michael Thomas, Akers, Henderson there, and get
Stafford. I'll take Stafford in a Superflex.
Gaskin and 103 for Tony Pollard. Should I?
What?
Yes, take it. And then I don't know.
Bizarre? Well, I'm a little confused.
Did anyone name their team last year Carroll Gaskin?
Oh my God. That is a really good team name that I have not yet heard. I actually kind of like it.
Me neither. I don't know why I just thought of it. I feel like it was there the whole time.
I'll take Stafford here, but I wouldn't love to pay this for him, but it's getting rid of MT and Henderson, who I don't want. So I'll take Stafford in a super flex.
Yeah, take the 103 over Pollard.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, nobody's actually trading the 103 for Pollard, I don't think.
Yeah, I think some people are going to overvalue Pollard, but don't.
Yeah, don't.
Zach Cooper, thank you both very much. Love the show and appreciate any insight. Always nice just having someone else chime in and just get another perspective on a trader rush. That's exactly right. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I try. I try to do that.
Would you trade a 2022 5th and 7th and a 2022 1st for a 2022 2nd and 9th? This must be a startup.
Okay, so I'm assuming these are.
So maybe okay, yeah. Okay, so 2022 5th and 7th round startups, and then maybe there's a first
rookie pick, but we don't know we would know what pick that is. I'm a little confused by this question.
Me too. Maybe there's a startup and then a rookie draft.
If you're still here, can you clarify what you mean by this? I'm a little confused by what kind of 2022 first that is. If you know what the value is, tell me the value.
Hey now, 12 team Superflex start 12 full PPR 0.25 points per carry. Would you give Javonte Williams plus Hollywood to get Justin Jefferson? Good
question. Okay, so in a regular PPR, I would say I would take Jefferson even with Hollywood, but in the points per carry, that's a lot. 0.25 points per carry is a lot. So I'll go with Javonte Williams and Hollywood.
I think I still want Jefferson.
Go look at the scoring again, what 0.25 points per carry does. I played in a bunch of points per carry leagues this year. It just changes everything. So if you go look at the scoring, you'll see very quickly that you'll want the other side.
Did we say to trade Godwin for a rookie coin flip?
No, Godwin. We know that Godwin's ceiling is top 5. So I see Godwin and Pittman very differently.
Right. Yeah, me too. Godwin is it's a totally different tier of wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Godwin and McLaurin are like kind of in a tier above, and then Devonta Smith and Pittman are kind of are in a tier below.
Tyler Reeves, so Fant or 202, or add something to him to trade for.
So I guess this isn't tight end premium. So if it's super flex, not tight end premium, I'll take the 202 over Fant easily. I don't want Noah Cant on my team, or as I've heard him called, Noah Fart. Noah Cant and Noah Fart are the two names. I mean, look, and Addison would agree with me. The difference between Noah Fant and Alberto is minimal difference between the two. So, it's not going to get better if they trade for Aaron Rodgers. You want a Davonte Adams sized, whatever you want to call it, dump on the target pile there. I don't think you want Noah Cant in that case.
T-Fish, congrats on your new show. Thank you, T-Fish. You can check it out. Dynasty Refinery releases every Saturday at 8 a.m. You should check it out. Am I okay with the Saints coaching staff? I don't know who the rest of it is. Like, who's going to be the OC? Did he get announced?
Well, you hired a failure as head coach. Big failure. I mean, he was a huge failure. So we already start with failure. So we don't want to start with failure.
Well, he did coach the Saints to the 9-0 win over Tom Brady and the Buccaneers while having Taysom Hill as his quarterback. So
Yeah, but what about he has 3 years of failure, an 8-28 record as head coach, 8-28. So 3 years of failure as the head coach. So why are we hiring a retread with failure? That just doesn't sound good to me. So I don't want to retread with failure. So I'm not good with that with Dennis Allen. That just sounds like a bad hire to me.
I want to know who's coaching the offense, but I also I want to know who's going to be all of the skill position players, because there's a chance they have to replace all of them.
Well, there are no skill position players. Well, Kamara, I think, may eventually come back.
Sure.
After it could be a lengthy suspension.
FF lefty, 1 QB, 2 first and 2 seconds for and Gabe Davis or JT. It's
JT.
Let's see. I got 2023 first and third for Love and Rondale Moore. Nice. Before he started the Chiefs game earlier this year. Happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would just take the first over that. Love, I don't want. I think Love is awful. I think he had his chances, but you're a first round pick and you couldn't even be the backup as a rookie. You couldn't be the backup. And then you come in against the Chiefs and you suck. And then now after the year, I'm reading reports. Well, we don't really feel like Jordan Love has a long way to go. There's many things he can improve on. I want to hear about many things he can improve on. What has he been doing for 2 years? Where has he been improving? He hasn't been improving. So I don't want to hear about that. They don't have to say that Jordan Love is bad to appease Aaron Rodgers. What they could say is that, yeah, we like what Jordan Love has been doing in practice. He's been working really hard. And if he gets his opportunity, we think he would do really well. They could easily say that and then go back to Aaron Rodgers. That wouldn't piss Aaron Rodgers off if they said that doesn't say anything about Aaron Rodgers. It just says Jordan Love is doing well. They could have said that. They specifically chose to say Jordan Love is not ready. Jordan Love has many things to improve on. They did not have to say that. So that should tell you all you need to know. He's already bust. We don't want to go to him ever.
Devin has some hypotheticals here. If you like hypotheticals, you will like the show this coming Saturday, because I throw a few of them out at my new game.
Hypotheticals. I like draft hypotheticals. They're fun.
How would you rank the rookie QBs if Malik lands? My hypothetical I'm going to throw out at somebody Saturday is Malik landing in Pittsburgh. What about Malik landing in Carolina, Kenny Pickett in Washington, and Matt Corral in Pittsburgh?
Well, Malik Willis landing in Pittsburgh is not realistic because he's not going to be there at 20. They'd have to trade up, but as the picks stand, he won't be there.
Yeah, they do allow you to trade those picks.
Well, they Pittsburgh could trade up. I mean, if they wanted Malik Willis, maybe they would. Mm-hmm. But I don't see this as very likely. But let's say this is what happened, and let's say everything is at the original spot. So let's say
Malik Willis landing in Carolina here
at 6. Kenny Pickett to Washington at 11, and then Corral to Pittsburgh at 20. I would have them in that order, in the order they were picked. I would default to the order they picked. The success of quarterback goes down very quickly once you get outside the top 10, much quicker outside the top 15. So I just have them in the order they were picked, with Malik Willis first anyway, because he had the highest fantasy upside.
Yeah, Jaden says I did mean fantasy producer, but
yeah, fantasy Tamaras was an interesting one. That one, I've never seen that autocorrect.
I hope your wife's name is Tamara, Jaden.
Well, that would make sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, if not, you might be in trouble. Just
yeah.
If your phone's autocorrect into Tamara, I mean,
could be his daughter. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Sister.
If Pitts and Andrews are that close, is it worth trying to trade down to Andrews? I just think if you think they're going to be like that, I still think if you think Andrews is going to.
Well, I think Andrews is a buy at his price. So, if I could get Andrews and there are some people who overvalue Pitts. If I could get Andrews and a 23 first for Pitts, I would do it. That's what you're asking.
Ed was upset that he couldn't trade Mahomes for Allen Plus in an orphan that he took over.
I think the consensus among the non-dynasty bubble is that Allen is the quarterback 1.
Nick, Matt Ryan trade value, 14-team Superflex league. Team's in a rebuild, trying to move off of him, but no one's biting. You're not going to get anything for him.
Yeah, and a 14-team Superflex you might, because there's going to be someone who needs him. And a 12-team Superflex you won't.
Your best case scenario, Nick, is hold him until the regular season and somebody gets desperate for a quarterback. That's the only way I think that you get any kind of, like, you've got to just hold him.
But I might want to move him before they potentially take a quarterback in this draft class.
Maybe.
Because then the value is just going to go down more. So I would consider, do you think maybe someone is so desperate, they're a contending team, they don't have a quarterback, maybe you can, in a 14-team league, it could be a really late first, you can add your 23 second to Ryan to get a 23 first from someone desperate. Maybe in a 14-team Superflex, there should be teams that need him. In a 12-team Superflex, I would almost just say take whatever you can get. But in a 14-team Superflex, you should be able to get something.
Could you trade a 2022 second this year for and Matt Ryan for a 2024 first? Maybe.
I'd rather do that over nothing.
Yeah.
If it's that or nothing, I'd rather do that. I mean, Matt Ryan's value is only going to go down. I think this is Matt Ryan's last year as a starter. I think Matt Ryan is washed. I think he's washed. I don't think he has anything left. I think this is it. So I would do that over nothing if I had to.
How did we miss this team name? I don't know how we missed it. It was right there the whole time. I don't know how we missed it.
Right, next comment. But this is I love
Ed, but nobody's watching, don't worry.
Yeah. 69 people are still watching, for the record.
Just who are some maybe super tight ends you guys like moving forward?
Well, if you have Gronk, he's going to retire, so don't count him.
You know what? I gave up a 2023 third for Gronk because
he's going to retire.
I think I traded him to Ed so that I could draft Gronk. And why not? Like, I like his comments about going to play with Burrow.
Yeah, he's going to retire. But
he sound like somebody ready to retire to me.
I think he is. He is going to make more money doing his other things.
Why hasn't he announced it yet?
Because why not keep the people waiting? Because we're talking about it, right? If he announced it, then we wouldn't talk about it. But we're talking about him. We're talking about he might retire. That's why. He wants people to talk about him. Wouldn't you?
No, I don't think he can.
Oh, I would. I mean, I would love it if people would speculate on what I was doing every day. But no, we didn't answer the question about sleeper tight end. I mean, he named one, right? I mean, he named one. Irv Smith right there. Mm-hmm. He named one. Albert O, there's another one. Foster Moreau, no thank you. But Albert O is one. Irv Smith was in the original question as one. Cole Kmet, I could see. I mean, he had a lot of targets. He had 90. They talked about this on the Fantasy Footballers podcast today. How Cole Kmet was like the first tight end to have. So I do listen to other podcasts. This is how I get like my information, by the way, from other people, is I usually prefer to listen to it. That's just today. They're talking about how he had 90 or more targets, but didn't score. It was like a unicorn thing for a tight end that happened. So maybe he's someone who could emerge. And then Alberto is one of my favorites. We already mentioned him. And Zach Ertz, if you're looking for a veteran, at a cheap price, Zach Ertz would be someone I would put on my list. Maybe David Njoku, Brevin Jordan as well. A couple more names. Not Foster Moreau, though. Foster Moreau, no. He had his chance, and he was a failure. So not him.
You could look at 93 targets, 60 catches, 612 yards with no touchdowns as a candidate for regression. You could also call that a failure. And
I don't think so.
That's where I'm going with that. Over 24 hours, gently press the like button, homies.
Yes, please.
Long in Miami. Harrison Bryant, less athletic, but I think they could be worth something in a few years.
No. Long was how many games did Long dress for? A lot of healthy scratches. A third. I don't care how hard the tight end position is to learn. You got to get on the game day roster consistently by the end of your rookie year if you're a day 2 pick. So Long, no. Harrison Bryant, I'm more interested in. I think he's good, but he was actually pushed to the side by David Njoku's rebirth, who I actually think is also good.
I do too, and he's free agent. Andrew Baker, 12-team Superflex PPR. Do you take T-Law or the 2022 101?
Lawrence.
Absolutely, still. Lawrence. I think Lawrence is a buy right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's obviously a buy.
I will say that. So you guys may not even follow me on Twitter. You should. I'm at Calvin Hobby, but I tweeted this out the other day. Like, pace of play matters, and last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars were 29th in total plays run. one of the worst in the league. Doug Peterson has never finished outside of the top 9 in terms of plays run. So that's like 100+ spread. Like that can be, depending on where that plays out, that can be a significant difference over time.
Yeah, I mean, Doug Peterson's not my favorite coach, but anyone's an upgrade over Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Plus, you get Trevor Lawrence, and I think you should buy him. Irv Smith is a nice upside, especially with the KOC hiring in Minnesota. Rams offensive scheme loves working the tight end as a focal point, and KOC will.
Oh, I agree. It's just that Irv Smith was already in the question, so we needed more sleeper tight ends to add to Irv Smith. But yeah, no, he would have been the first name I mentioned.
He's really young too.
Yeah, 98. August 98. August 7th, I think. You look that up.
But see, a lot of the Rams offensive scheme guys that have come out have not made tight ends the focal point. So I think this is one of those.
I'm not worried about a coach and a scheme. I'm more worried if he can come back and actually do something. I think if he's good, he'll get used.
He's not going to be a difference maker though. So
maybe not, but we'll see.
Foster Moreau, underrated. I do like him. He actually is still pretty young, isn't he?
No, he sucked in the games. He had plenty of chances without Waller in the lineup, and he sucked. So no, not for me. I think he's overrated. I think he's a complete waste of time.
Still just 24 years old. Did he scored more touchdowns than Cole Kmet?
Well, Cole Kmet scored 0, so it would be hard to score fewer.
What about Troutman? Thought he could be good.
No. He had plenty of opportunity too, and he completely blew it. So, I mean, maybe. I mean, I'm holding out more hope for Kmet than Troutman. But, I'd rather have Troutman over Moreau. I haven't completely ridden Troutman off, whereas I've completely ridden Moreau off.
I am so sorry, Jaden.
It's not my fault that your phone auto-corrected it.
Jaden's wife is listening, and she isn't happy because her name is Tamara. Is it her name? Oh, she isn't. Wait.
So
wait,
then this makes
or not?
sense.
Wait. Yeah.
No, but then this makes sense. Your phone auto-corrected because you text your wife a lot. That makes sense. Why is this bad?
Did it autocorrect her name to Tamara again? Because if your phone autocorrected to Tamara again, this is really bad. Like, just log off.
No, but I think it's the good innocent explanation. That's what I think. That's what I think.
He's laughing though. That's good. I love that. That's great. Moreau also was garbage. It was
garbage. That's what I was saying. He was garbage. Yeah, no, he was garbage. I have completely given up on Moreau, but Troutman, I still have a tiny bit of hope for.
I don't know why. Like, what has he done?
Troutman?
Yeah.
Nothing. He's done nothing, but sometimes it takes tight ends some time. Whereas Moreau, we saw he had big opportunity and completely failed. And that's not the first time. And he's had more years. So I've seen enough from Moreau, whereas Troutman, it's possible that the development still comes. So I'm willing to take one more look at him. Whereas Moreau, I've seen enough.
Moreau is still younger than Adam Troutman.
Right, but I've seen enough in terms of the years in the NFL. I've seen enough to make a decision on Moreau.
With Troutman.
No, I don't feel like I have. I feel like I haven't seen enough.
I'm a Saints fan, and I am telling you, he is absolutely not Troutman. Never Troutman. That's
Moreau had a better chance. Put it this way: Moreau had a better chance to succeed than Troutman did. So since Moreau had a better chance and completely failed, I'm more likely to give up on him.
Troutman had no one else,
but he had no offense. The offense was so bad. So and he did better than you might think, but it's not great. I'm not a big fan.
Pittman or St. Brown?
Pittman.
Yeah,
barely.
I think there's actually a little bit of distance there.
Not that much. One tier of distance, but that's not that much.
I like St. Brown, but
they're not that far from me.
Pittman is a wide receiver 2. I think Amanra would be like a wide receiver 3.
I mean, I think I have it that way. Yeah, I have Pittman at 19. No, I have them both as 2s. I have Pittman at 19 and Amanra at 23.
McLaurin or Godwin player for picks?
Well, I'd rather have McLaurin or Godwin over Pittman or Amanra. And I'm fine trading Pittman or Amanra for picks.
She's probably not happy that a couple grown men talking football on YouTube are saying her name at 11 p.m.
Hey, I think the most notable thing about this is that someone decided that I was a grown man. I think that's the most notable thing about that comment.
Any rookie tight ends coming might be relevant for Dino.
Rookie this year or rookie last year?
Because Trey McKitty was in the league last year.
Trey McKitty was a rookie last year. I mean, last year's rookie tight ends. I mean, Kyle Pitts was very relevant. Pat Fryermuth are very relevant. But I'm talking
Trey
about
McBride. Trey McBride is what he means.
Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Sure. He could be, but I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at Trey McBride. Not even as good as Pat Fryermuth last year, I don't think.
No, like second round pick.
He's kind of on that level. He's kind of on that level for me. I think he's going to be drafted in the second round of the NFL draft, and you'll have to make your decisions based on that, but not a premium prospect.
Tyler, we went way over time. I am excited that we got a chance to do this. This is a lot of fun. So many great questions. The chat was awesome. Sorry for being 10 minutes late. I appreciate you.
It's all good. I held down the fort.
Yeah, I'm sure you did great. So, So, Tyler, any last words before we sign off?
No, I love these last two comments from Zach. They're very funny. Part of me doesn't want to be that. I kind of like having that youthful energy. But yeah, I appreciate that in the chat. It just gets exciting. I don't know. And yeah, thanks to everyone for watching, listening. If you're listening to the podcast version of this that Cal was so kind to make. And otherwise, whatever platform you're on, just make sure you like, subscribe, leave a review if you're on Spotify, comment on the video if you're on YouTube, and we'll continue to be here every week.
I'm going to really push that harder once it gets approved on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, wait for it to be approved on Apple. But once it's available on Apple, we'll definitely remind people of the podcast option more. Because I know some people prefer a podcast over a YouTube show.
So, yes, for Tyler, for the whole team there at DLF, Addison, and everybody, and also, of course, for Tamara, we are signing off. I'm at Calvin and Hobby. We will see you guys